I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
It was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. And we'd like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Wednesday night, and that's the night we get together, one of the nights anyway, and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. Those things, of course, aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and just that odd feeling that the world we live in is all kinds of upside down. We're streaming live on Facebook, streaming live on YouTube, streaming live on DLive. We're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. If you want to be part of the show tonight, this is a two-way conversation, three-way conversation tonight. We've got Ash with us tonight. But if you want to be a part of the show at any point, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord as well and be on the show that way. You can find both the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. And Discord is a chat client. It's a voice client. Lots of people using it to play video games these days. We use it to do a talk show because, well, yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Definitely. So tonight, what we have on deck is we're going to be talking about UFOs. Just general UFO news and the 6-month countdown and all the rest of that stuff, which we actually haven't really talked about too much. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's see if we can make a connection to Mars. 1, 2, deet, deet, deet. Mars, Earth to Mars. Do you copy? Are you there, Ash? How you doing, buddy? Do you copy?
Hello, humans. hey, what's up? How you guys doing?
Good. Looking good, feeling good, doing the thing. What's on deck tonight? So we got some UFOs, right? We got all kinds of UFO talk.
Yeah, I started digging, and there's a lot of UFO stuff. You dug on your own UFO stuff, so I guess that's in the cards for tonight.
Yeah, so there's a lot of general kind of UFO news. There's a few things. We got an anniversary of a major UFO sighting that we'll talk about, and then we have that 6-month countdown, which we'll get to in just a sec. But so what we're doing tonight is we're kind of taking your general thoughts on the whole thing, right? The whole the past year, actually past probably couple 3 years have been pretty exciting in the UFO community because of Tom DeLonge, right? The Blink 182 guy. That's actually the guy I'm talking about. He did that To the Stars Academy with Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon and who else? Hal Puthoff and a whole bunch of like really respected people in the UFO community. And then there was Tom DeLonge and for some reason they got a ton of press. I guess maybe it's because of all the individuals they had kind of stacked up as part of the deal, right? You stack up a bunch of notable people in one spot, and you're going to get a bunch of attention. But we want to hear what you guys think about all this stuff. Well, of course, they had the Tic Tac incident with the Nimitz and all that stuff. If you guys aren't familiar with that, we'll be talking a little bit about that tonight, and then also the 6-month countdown on. Supposedly, they're supposed to give us information on what's happening with UFOs and the government, and we're supposed to know by the beginning of June. So that's what's on deck tonight. So general thoughts on UFO news. Love to hear from you guys. Once again, 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org, and let's go. Let's begin, shall we? Anything else you want to tell them who you are there? Maybe talk about your YouTube channel real fast, and then we'll get started.
For sure, yeah. And just to mention, you mentioned Tom DeLonge getting press. Him and his group of various insiders. Supposedly they didn't really have the proper apparatus for getting their information out, and that's one of the things that Tom DeLonge offered, since he did have all these marketing connections for releasing content. So supposedly that's kind of like where a lot of the beneficial stuff came. So, Tom DeLonge became a channel for pushing either the truth or propaganda. I don't know. We'll kind of look at things tonight and see what you guys think. What do you guys think about, these things? Like, if it was just Mike and Ash, we would just go in circles and we go crazy over here. So it's good for you guys to call in. My name is Ash. I am the Reptilian from Mars. I have a YouTube channel. Please check it out. Thank you guys for being here, and I show up every Wednesday. So it's and usually when I'm here, we're going to talk about aliens and UFOs and and the weirder stuff. The fun stuff.
The fun stuff, the weird stuff. So that's what's on deck tonight. Again, looking to hear from you guys. But let's start. You want to start with this 6-month countdown to UAP and UFO disclosure? Just for the folks the uninitiated, let's say. UFO is clearly the old term, unidentified flying object, and it means lots of things, right? But the new term that they're using is UAP, just to catch everybody up, to make sure we're on the same page in the conversation here. And what the new term is unidentified aerial phenomena. All right, that's what they're using. So when we say UFO and UAP, they're kind of interchangeable, kind of not. Depends on who you ask. Some old schoolers have not actually dropped the UFO, and they're going to run with UFOs. I think I qualify as an old schooler because I don't like the new term. Let's go back and call them UFOs, in my opinion. But yeah, okay. So you want to start with that? I know you got an article there. We'll pull that up and talk about Lou Elizondo talking about this. And I've actually got the document itself as well, so we can read exactly what's happening with some of that. So let's start with that. I'll pull that up. We'll start there. Let's start with the
the one I linked to is kind of wrapped in crap editing. So I sent you the Fox News one.
Okay. Got it.
I just sent it to you. So this was March 23rd, not too long ago, just yesterday. That Luis Elizondo, he was the head of the ATIP program. Basically, like this, you're wondering, is the government keeping track of the UFOs? And the answer that we got, was it a year or two ago, was yes, they were. They have a department at the Pentagon, and this guy was in charge of it. So once he kind of retired from the position, he started publicly speaking about it, and he hooked up with Tom DeLonge, the band member of Blink 182, believe it or not, and a bunch of other insiders, and they've been trying to get this information out, this specific kind of information, and they ended up releasing the 3 UFO videos, the infamous ones that the Navy and the Pentagon confirmed. So, we went from pretty much no confirmation to, yes, there are UFOs, and there's no official word as to where they're from. And so from these insiders, you get the hint that they're not from here, that we actually, I think he talks about it. So, I guess we could just play it. So
yeah, we could play a little bit of this. All right. So this is from Fox News. I dropped the link in all the chats as always, so you guys can follow up on us and check the sources. It's important to me that you're able to find where we got the information from, because sometimes people, the slick charlatans, are able to just kind of grab a news clip or a soundbite and kind of move it out of context and edit it cleverly to make them say things they're not saying. So that's why I want to make sure that you guys always have my links and know where this information is coming from. But yeah, let's play just a little bit of this as I unmute this tab. Here we go. All right. So this is from Fox News. Pentagon to release UFO report on difficult to explain sightings. And this is the news that's come out recently. So here we go. Let's play just a little bit and then we'll keep on trucking talking about this.
All right, and now for something completely different. The former National Intelligence Director is revealing a new government report on UFOs will be full of never before seen or heard intel.
Frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. We're talking about objects that, engage in actions that are difficult to explain, that movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have the technology for.
Okay, joining us right now to discuss is Lou Elizondo. He is the former director of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, a Pentagon unit that studies UFOs. Lou, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So part of the evidence apparently is going to show UFOs or they're just unidentified objects breaking the sound barrier without a sonic boom. How is that possible?
Well, I think that's probably the crux of the problem, that we are seeing these, let's call them vehicles, if you will, that are incurring into controlled U.S. airspace, that are displaying performance characteristics that are frankly well beyond anything that we can either replicate or in some cases really even understand.
So when you're talking about that, you're talking about how these things are able to do things that we have no idea how it's possible, given the speed and the altitude and things like that, and the turns and everything like that. I'm sure you've got the top physics experts in the world working on this. Can they come up with any explanation?
I think as we begin to look at this, we're beginning to realize that a lot of this really isn't breaking the laws of physics. What it's doing is really breaking our understanding of the current laws of physics that we are looking at. In essence, these things, if you look at quantum physics, there's a lot of modeling right now that suggests that a lot of this performance can be explained if you have a really deep understanding of quantum physics. And by the way, you're absolutely right. There's 5 unique observables that these things are displaying. One is
Okay, let's cut it there. We'll talk about the 5 observables in a minute here. But if you guys are familiar with Lou Elizondo, again, he was head of the ATIP program, which is the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program in the Pentagon. And supposedly, we don't have the full details of that actual program just yet. There's a lot of people working on FOIAs and some other things to get exactly what happened with the program and the things that the budgeting and all those things, right? That all that stuff comes into play when you're trying to get information from the government. But so he's describing this as maybe it's not breaking the laws of physics. It's just kind of ahead of us, and we don't quite understand physics the way they're supposed to be understood, right? Am I getting that right, Ash?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. A couple things to note is that he says, "Do we have our top physicists on this?" And I almost unmuted. Was like Bob Lazar, like shout out to the homie Bob Lazar. If you guys don't know who Bob Lazar was, he was the guy inevitably went on Joe Rogan, and it actually, I think he basically started the Storm Area 51 movement indirectly. It was that kind of monumental, and he claims that he was working on reversing engineering alien craft, basically. That's, I mean, you can read between the lines, but that's pretty much what it was. And that some of these craft were ancient, Like basically, when we had spears in our hands, they were crashing on this planet. And our government has, he was saying, somewhere like 9 or 11 of these things, different, and they're all different kinds. And anyway, he was on the program to reverse engineer it. So that's separate. So basically, it's kind of funny. He says, do we have the top physicist working on it? And Bob Lazar is a physicist who was claiming he was working on it in like the 70s or the 80s. But this program...
89.
89. See, you know the date. But this is different. This is specifically... I almost feel like, they don't want to... They're trying to like roll it out, right? So piece by piece. So this piece is like there are things in the sky, we can't explain them. They do things that we don't understand, and they break our current laws of physics. Our laws of physics. Now, we have been getting better at understanding the quantum mechanics of reality, but we still haven't quite bridged them between like the quantum realm and like normal physics. Like there's a break there. Like we don't fully understand reality, and if these objects are behaving like they say they are, they're exhibiting like something that we, like it's a sign that there's something we don't understand. And that's kind of like what he's hinting at. They may already understand it behind the scenes, like, you know what I'm saying? The government, wink, wink. But they're claiming not to know, but these things are behaving incredibly. Yeah, they do some crazy. They just shoot up in the atmosphere. They if you were to make a 90-degree turn in one of these things at those speeds, it would just kill everyone on board, and it would just crash. So they're able to punch a hole in modern physics as we know it and just break all the rules. So yeah, pretty nuts stuff.
Yeah, and so again, this is Lou Elizondo. He was the head of ATIP. Again, he worked in the government in the Pentagon on a UFO program recently as 2017, I believe, and then he resigned and then joined the To the Stars Academy, which was part of the Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, and some other folks, again, very notable people that kind of got together, and they're trying to bring disclosure about, right? They're trying to at least what they're telling us. Again, like I said, now this is the thing, right? With me, I've been very suspicious of all of this for a very long time. We've been talking about this on this show since this broke, basically. And I'm just not sure that the things we're hearing from these people are exactly what is happening out there. Okay, that's my opinion. That's one guy's opinion. And it doesn't mean that there aren't UFOs. I think there are definitely UFOs. I think there are definitely UFOs that don't belong to us, right? All your UFOs belong to us. Shout out to our friend out there in the chat that had that funny joke way back. But if they don't belong to us, they belong to them. And who is them? And there's a bigger conversation there. But part of what we're hearing from not just Tom DeLonge, but this individual, Lou Elizondo, is a little bit I don't know, like disjointed. If you look at the Unidentified program, so they had a History Channel program called Unidentified, where they talked about these 5 observables and when they first introduced them. So we'll play the rest of this video, just a couple minutes here. But where he talked about the 5 observables, but they were talking about how it's always a threat, right? There's like this threat narrative, and I think that's kind of part of the problem with that I have on this is that if we don't know what it is, you can't really classify these things as a threat, right? I mean, you can probably say a possible threat, but it just seems like if you turned on that show and watched it kind of from the beginning to the end, that it may be something else entirely. Who knows? We're talking about consciousness. We're talking about all kinds of stuff on this show. So who knows? So we'll play the rest of this with the 5 observables. But anything else there that I missed that you can add?
To not like go off so hard. I'm trying to keep it short, but yeah, it's like, do you trust the government? Is ultimately what it kind of comes down to. We hear all these rumors of all this stuff, right? And so, we're looking at a mountain of rumors, of stories, of insiders. I mean, a literally like mind breaking. Any one of these things changes like how the world that we live in completely. If there's any aliens, right? And there's all these experiences and all this stuff. And then they're just giving us just a tiny bit And they're like, this is where we are. This is what we know. It's like, yeah, right. Okay, so you're lying to us. Now, obviously, right? You're lying at some level.
Again. Like it's been since 1947, right, with the original Roswell thing. Everybody knows at this point it's not a weather balloon. It's pretty widely known and established that it was a cover-up of some sort, right? It was not just a basic weather balloon.
Right.
And even witnesses that were on the ground that were, told, Jesse Marcel, I believe, is one, that actually had the famous picture holding up the little tinfoil, right? That was supposed to be the wreckage of the weather balloon. He even came out and said before his death that this was not a real thing. That was a staged photograph, and that was not what's happening. So again,
the guy in the photo, the guy in the actual photo said this is BS. But you know what's so crazy is people are so attached to the mainstream that literally unless the government comes out and says things. I mean, look at the COVID everything. It's like all this stuff, and it's like I was just telling people, hey, just take some vitamin D. Like no one was saying that. It's like right? It's like the most important thing. The most anyway. Sorry, I don't want to tangent off on that.
I'm taking it's like vitamin D. We got 2 minutes to squeeze in the 5 observables before the break. So let's do this real quick.
Okay,
we'll have a quick 30 seconds afterwards. So here we go. This is Lou Elizondo talking about the 5 observables. I can't say it. I keep fumbling the word. Anyway, here we go.
Instantaneous acceleration. The second one is hypersonic velocity. The third one is a bit of an oxymoron, but it's low observability. And then the fourth one is transmedium travel, the ability to operate in different environments. And then the last observable is this, if you will, this weird positive lift or anti-gravity where you have these vehicles with no wings, no control surfaces, no engines, and yet somehow they're able to fly and frankly outperform some of the very best aircraft that we have in our inventory.
Unbelievable stuff. So when people say, oh, you're in that business, how do you explain these UFOs?
Sure. Well, my business has always been that as an investigator. I was an intelligence officer for the U.S. government, so my business was just to find the truth, whatever the truth is, whether it's a terrorism investigation or counter-espionage. Yeah, we applied the same methodologies we did investigating terrorist, if you will, operations and operatives as we did with this. And the information is very compelling. It's real.
Yeah. Okay, it's real. Are they from another planet?
Well, I think it's too early to tell. The 3 options that have been presented that is our secret technology, but we've done a terrible job at coordinating the testing of this technology for decades with ourselves, which is highly unlikely. The second option is that it's foreign adversarial technology, which, if you were to ask me, would be a huge intelligence failure of this country because we've been technologically leapfrogged. Or the third option is that it's something completely different. If it's not ours and it's not theirs, well, then it's someone or something else.
Okay, there we go. So that's the important part here. If it's not ours, it's not theirs, then it's something else, right? But notice how he did say that it's possible it belongs to us. However, we did such a terrible job of testing and rollout and all this compartmentalization with government and all this stuff that it could be ours, right? It seems like he almost said it's equally likely that's the case as it is aliens from another world, right? We got about 1 minute, Ash. Let's wrap this up and go into the break here.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, so this is the person who was in charge of the UFO program. So he's either a slight insider or deep insider, feigning, basically pretending he doesn't know certain things, right? So the 5 things that he mentioned that these vehicles can do is they instant. So basically they can be not moving and then suddenly just take off like a rocket, which nothing we know of can do that. Hypersonic, low observability, trans environment, meaning air, water, like moving between 2, and positive lift, anti-gravity. There it is, the anti-gravity stuff. So what is this? What do you guys think? We'd like to hear from you. Please call in. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Talking UFOs tonight. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Ash. Having a good time. Love to hear what you think about all this UFO stuff. Hang tight. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. I'm Mike. I'm here with our friend Ash. We're talking UFOs, and we'd love to hear what you think. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Let us continue, shall we? So, Lou Elizondo, the head of ATIP, right? He's been doing now just to kind of catch us up on, this has actually morphed a lot in the past several years. Okay, I think 3 years. I think 2017, December 2017, I believe is when this actually started with the original press conference with Tom DeLonge and the rest of these guys. Okay, but it's morphed a lot because it first came out and Tom DeLonge went on the Joe Rogan show, and the first thing out of his mouth was, well, we're not calling them UFOs anymore. We're calling them advanced aerial threats, right? And then Joe Rogan's like, whoa, wait, what? Threats? And then Tom DeLonge says, oh, well, I wasn't supposed to really get into that, right? And it's the first damn thing out of his mouth. And so it's like, okay, okay. You remember that? You remember that, Ash? What's up? Welcome back, Ash. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? Yeah, from the gates, they postured this as a threat, and maybe it just has a strategic advantage for them as far as like disclosing, but it also kind of plays into a couple other potential government scenarios. Let's just say that that is a little bit worrisome that we've been hearing about for a long time. That the military-industrial complex, they need a bad guy. They always need a bad guy, and they've supposedly have mapped out these bad guys decades and decades in advance. And so we're right around asteroids. So it was Rogue Nations was the last one, right after terrorism. Then there's asteroids, and we're already seeing that rhetoric. And then there's the final card that's supposedly playing, and it's the alien false flag, the alien bad guys. So there's like a part of me that's like, are aliens even real, or is it all just government, government ruse? I don't know. I don't know if that's, part of this or not, but clearly they're trying to deliver this in a very controlled way. They're trying to control how this flows out, right, in a variety of different ways. And one is by posturing this thing as a threat.
Yeah, and that's really okay. So that, like I said, this has come a long way since then, and the phone lines are a little messed up. Kelly, thank you for pointing that out. I'm trying to get us back online. We had a hiccup when we first started the show. We literally in the first probably 3 minutes, the internet just dropped here for probably a full minute. So anyway, things are a little bit wonky. Getting things back up. Yeah, hold on. We got call issues. All right, so I'm trying to work on this to get you guys back up, and we can get you back on the show here. But okay, so in what happened was in the original, when this all rolled out, the first thing was that threat narrative, okay? And so I guess that's one of the questions tonight is what do you think regarding, let's say, the extraterrestrials or whatever they are, right? Whatever you want to call them, the UFOs, whatever's happening with this. Do you think this is a threat? Because that threat narrative was pushed pretty hard out of the gate back in 2017. They continued it with their the TTSA backed show called Unidentified, which was on the History Channel, and they talked about the threat narrative quite a lot as well. And so, as Matthew pointed out in the chat, shout out to Matthew. What's up? Again, streaming on YouTube, DLive, and Facebook, reading the chat as we can. Matthew said that Lou Elizondo recently has backed off of the threat narrative quite a lot. And that's true. That's very true. So I think it's worth mentioning that. And that's part of how this has changed quite a lot, because we don't really know. That's how they started, but then they've kind of backed off that once Lou Elizondo quit TTSA, which was To the Stars Academy, which was part of Tom DeLonge and all the rest of this. So that's really the conversation now. So I've changed my mind on Lou Elizondo. Okay, when he first came out and he was part of that TTSA stuff, I was just rolling my eyes and just smacking myself in the face. Like, come on. Like, really? We're supposed to believe a guy from inside the government is coming out. He quit the government, to come in and try and bring about disclosure to like the regular people, us. And he's not getting the full weight of the government coming down on his head. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait, something just smelled fishy about that right off. So I thought it was suspicious. But now, to his credit, I think he's kind of been pretty transparent and answering as many questions as he can, and going on as many shows and podcasts and things, and he's done a lot of kind of clarifying where he's come from. So in the past, probably, I would say 4 months. Maybe beginning of the year, he really started, after he quit TTSA, he started becoming a lot more transparent. But again, right? Is that part of the ruse? Is he only allowed to know so much? I don't know. Anyway, so that's my opinion on him as it's changed. I don't know about you. You can chime in on that if you.
Well, I mean that's a good point. The one comment was, Snowden got harassed, right? When he came out, they like threatened him and whatever. But if you know Bill Cooper, he was strangled. They beat the hell out of him and strangled him to death, right? So he, if this is like the deepest, darkest secret of the government, and you start talking, you disappear. Like a lot of these people disappear. They go away, or they're taken care of one way or another. So for these people to be publicly making these comments, making these announcements, yeah, it proves that they've got the approval of their authority, of their bosses. So it's a narrative that's been approved for whatever reason. Whether there's a lot of talk on Reddit. I'm reading some of the comments right now, and people are like kind of coming to the consensus that an announcement is coming soon. And we talked about this a while ago, and I kind of put myself out there. I took a guess. I'm like, I think this is different. I think something's coming. And a lot of people disagreed, which is understandable because this kind of stuff has happened before, right? Where there's kind of a wave with Reagan, right? Wasn't it Ronald Reagan? Or no, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, he saw a UFO. He was going to say stuff was going to come out. He gets in there. One thing leads to another and gets shut out. Bill Clinton, he went to search for it, shut out. Hillary Clinton, she ended up talking about it in John Podesta. And supposedly she was going to come out and say something. And the Pentagon was trying to get ahead of her, and they really thought she was going to win. So did most of the world. and when she didn't get in, they're like, "Well, screw it, we're doing it anyway," kind of thing. And supposedly, because of the during the last administration with Orange Man Bad, whether you support him or you don't, you can't argue that it congested the news cycle, right? That war going on, that public war. And so no one could get anything out. And so now they're rolling it out now. It's happening now. Like whatever it is, for whatever reason, they're rolling it out now. That's in my opinion, that's what it seems like. But yeah, so if these guys are alive, then clearly, and they're all, like on Fox News and coordinating with New York Times across all these platforms, clearly it's like it's the government's will, right?
Yeah, you would expect that, and very much like you look at Julian Assange, who's the WikiLeaks guy. He's leaked a bunch of stuff, and he's they got him in a box, right? They're trying to extradite him. He's been holed up in in asylum, as they say, right? But it's basically a closet. It's like a broom closet. Like he's been miserable for years now, and they're trying to extradite him back to the States to throw the book at him. And I'm not saying that Lou Elizondo is leaking things, right? Of course, there are particular things he doesn't say, and he's been very clear about. But it does seem a little bit suspicious that Bob Lazar can come out and say, "Oh yeah, well we're reverse engineering UFOs," and they didn't come down on him, right? I mean, they didn't. He's not in handcuffs. He's not in jail. He didn't get run out of the country like Snowden or Assange or any of the rest of these guys. So they
did discredit him. They did try to erase his history, any connections, his educational history. Like there was stuff happening to him, but yeah, he didn't get like the telephone treatment, the telephone treatment. Yeah, he's not pushing up daisies. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I just wanted to say there's a little bit that happened to him. You know?
Yeah, well, exactly as part of that story. But that's the conversation, right? Again, the phones are back up. Sorry about that. We had some actual issues when we started. An internet hiccup kind of broke everything. Everything should be back up. You want to be part of the show tonight? We're talking UFOs and this whole countdown to disclosure business, and kind of revisiting To the Stars. With Tom DeLonge, Lou Elizondo, Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, Chris Mellon, all these guys, right? So they had their thing together for maybe, it was a couple years now, 2.5 years maybe, and then they all quit. They all left. And so Tom DeLonge is left holding the bag without all his government insiders. So that should tell you something right there as well. Okay, so there's a little bit of that kind of got talked about, got kicked around. And, as professionals do, if you quit an organization, these guys aren't talking. They're not saying, well, I quit because I didn't like the way it was run, or you know what I mean? They're not talking crap about anybody. Again, like I said, if you don't want to air the dirty laundry, you shouldn't, and that's how a professional should be. So I don't begrudge them for that, but it is bizarre that they all kind of just dumped at the same time. It's like weird, right? Weird. We got a phone call. Let's take this again. If you guys want to be part of the show tonight, talking about TTSA, Lou Elizondo, talking about the countdown, 6-month countdown from December of disclosure, supposed disclosure. So we'll get to that in a little bit, and then we'll get to Phoenix Lights a little bit later in the show tonight as well. So here we go. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. What's up? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend?
What's going on, brothers?
You already know. UFOs, man. UFOs. What do you think about this stuff?
You already know what I think, man. You already know what I think. But the information that's supposed to be dumped in June, I believe it is, and I don't know. If they want to impress anybody, I would like to see them throw some real shit out. Like, I'm sorry,
Kelly,
some more crap out. As in what the aliens look like, where they're from, you know what I mean? Where these, if I'm talking like real disclosure, if they want to impress anybody, that's how I would say that it should be done.
Yeah, like give us some real information, right? Like actual real information, like something that's tangible and real, and we can all get behind and say, okay, you're not trying to dupe us this time. We're not going to fall for the same old BS you've been slinging since 1947. This is new. This is different. Throw us a bone, right? Throw us a real bone. Not, my national security oaths. I can't really say this. I can't really say that, right? We're back to that same old stuff, and it frustrates me to no end.
I mean, it's always ridiculous. It's redacted. You can't read anything. You have like a couple words like the or and or some. You know what I mean? Some of that stuff, it's the same old stuff. So to me, I think it's just going to be the same exact thing as usual. But that's my opinion. But I wanted to also comment real quick on some of the stuff that I found out in some of my research when everybody has question about the propulsion of these things and the reason why they don't have a sonic boom when they hit past the sound of speed, What I've seen, some of the people that talked about it was, they were insiders as well, but they were saying that the reason for it doesn't have a sonic boom is because like most stuff that we have, like propulsion-wise, it's a thrust, right? So anything, once they hit a certain speed, then boom, you hear, or something falling out, like an asteroid coming into the atmosphere, it hits a certain speed and boom, it hits what these things are, they're anti-gravity, right? But what they're also creating is like a pocket in front of them. So it's like they said it's almost like a small jump gate. And so it's sucking it forward instead of pushing it. So, and the reason why, the reason for that is because it's, it can move in any direction, and, the shape of it really ain't going to matter because, it can actually, it's the pocket that it's creating, it also creates like a force field around it. So none of the people or, the inside occupants are not going to be affected because it's going to have a force field around it. And, that's some of the metaphysics that Lou Elizondo is going to try to talk about, but most people ain't going to try to comprehend that, you know what I mean? But that's more or less what exactly like I said, some of the stuff that I've seen that they were trying to talk about.
Yeah, and that even goes back to Bob Lazar. He was trying to describe that same actual like advanced propulsion back in 1989. He was trying to say, again, like people have kind of crapped on him a little bit and said that actually quite a lot. And he's controversial at this point because he's saying there's advanced propulsion that is very similar to what you're describing there. It's like you slope space time and then you're able to kind of ride that wave as behind it as it kind of does its thing. So I don't know. I mean, that whole thing again, right? That's a whole nother can of worms. But clearly, I think we can all probably agree that human knowledge of science and physics is not the end all be all in the universe. I think that's probably the most obvious thing here. But I mean, that's why we're talking about it. There's a conversation to be had. We're going to keep on trucking here. Final thought while we got you on the phone, my friend.
Oh no, man, that's about it. I just wanted to add a little bit,
I appreciate that. Thank you. That's Kelly from Colorado, old friend of the show. Thank you so much for calling in tonight. Talk to you soon, my friend. God bless you and the family, okay?
All right, later.
Thanks, man. All right, so there you go. Take on that, Ash. As always, Kelly, great call.
Yeah, it's interesting their propulsion because, like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't obey the law of physics. The very fact that they are here means that they left from somewhere and came here, which we're not really capable of doing currently, at least publicly, I guess. I don't know what's behind the scenes. So, I mean, to go faster than the speed of light breaks the laws of physics. To not carry momentum within the spacecraft. So if you're going that quickly, the G forces would be insane. It would just kill everyone on board. So there's some weirdness happening here, and there's been a lot of theories about how it runs. Bob Lazar had his, like you mentioned. But yeah, how do these things work? And I guess, it is frustrating that we're kind of like spoon-fed a narrative, and they're not telling us the real stuff, but we are kind of at the point of how do space aliens work? How do their spaceships work? Which is kind of cool if you think about it. How do spaceships work? That's where we are. That's kind of like what we're looking at right now, and you're starting to see that a little bit in science. With like scientific papers and their progress, they're starting to get a little bit more gun ho, kind of to figure these things out. I know there's a big push for cold fusion. I don't know anything about it, but just certain things, like I guess theories that would be out there. Because once you go, okay, that thing is real, and they can do it, that means we can do it, and it's kind of like cheating on a test. You may not get all of the answer, but you get enough of it that it'll kind of put you in the right direction. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think the government is just trying to get enough out there to get the help of the world, so they can make their current space fleet better. I think that they have some spaceships behind the scenes. They're at a certain point, and they're trying to advance it. But I tell you what, Mike, one of the things that they stay the heck away from as far as they can is the actual alien part. They really try to stay away from that as much as possible. And there's all these stories of recovering bodies, abductions. I mean, there's a lot of alien stuff, and the government would 100% look into that, or recover bodies or whatever. They would collect all of that information. And we hear rumors that they have these things, and they're staying away from that. For whatever reason, they do not want to talk about the actual alien stuff. So you can kind of take that what you will, and we want to hear what you guys think. What do you guys think? Like, what about that? What do you think about this? Do you think the government's full of crap? Do you think something big is coming? Do you think like this is the moment? Like, is this going to happen? 2021. Like, please call in. Go ahead, Mike. You know the number. I can't even retain it. You say it so fast.
I got you, buddy. All right, so that's what we're talking about tonight. So exactly what is happening with all this UFO news with the 6 months? Here we go. We got an article real quick from the Washington Post. So I just want to mention this as we kind of move into the next segment here. But this is brand new from the Washington Post. And thanks to Trump era COVID relief bill, UFO report may soon be public, and it'll be big. X official says. And that's the news. That's the recent news regarding this. This is from March 23rd, 2021, and in the Washington Post. And I think it was Daniel Radcliffe, right? I think that's the individual that was talking about this. We'll get into that in just a sec. But so the thing is, now this is the top news. This is happening this week, and this is what I'm talking about. Is that all of this news is on the top of the news cycle as it happens, right? And it's different. It's a different thing, okay? Because back in the 60s when they drew in Project Blue Book, they didn't do any of this top of the news cycle, right? I mean, some of it kind of maybe bubbled up and, they shot it down as swamp gas and, weather balloons and these things. But now we have, supposedly the government is now telling us that these things are not ours, right? Where we get these videos released and we're here to try and pick up the pieces and figure out what the heck is really going on. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to include you. If you guys want to be part of the show tonight, love to hear from you. What do you think about all this? Do you think that there are extraterrestrials here? Do you think the government knows about them? And if they know about them, why aren't they telling us? There's a lot of things here that we always talk about, we always think about as part of this show that you don't get on any other show, and that's what we're doing. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. If you want to be part of the show, you can dial that number. You can join the Discord. The phone number and the Discord link are at troubledminds.org. I have to remind myself to slow down. troubledminds.org, 702-957-1037. So I'd love to hear from you on what's going on with this and why it's left to us to try and figure out and read between the lines and do all the things that we're doing to try and just get to the bottom of this. Like, who do we trust, right? I think that's the question. Who do we trust here? Do we trust Tom DeLonge, Lou Elizondo, and this crew, or is it something else entirely?
Big Daddy Government, Mike. You always trust Big Daddy Government.
Sure
they have your best interest at heart.
Yes, they do.
They love you.
They love you. They love me. They love us. And that's why we're here talking about it. And we're about to get taken off of all social media because they love us. They really love us. They really love us.
Oh, so much.
Yeah. All right. So that's the deal tonight. We're talking about that. We're hoping to include you. We got one phone call on deck after the break. If you guys have another take on this, if you think we're missing something, if whatever, we'd love to hear whatever you think about this. Feedback on the show, it's all good. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Troubledminds.org is the official website. You can find the phone number and the Discord link there. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Ash. We're hanging out talking about UFOs. It's kind of what we do. If you like this, stick around. More after the break. This is Michael Strange from Troubled Minds. Did you hear that scientists recently discovered radio waves coming from Proxima Centauri? Well, I cannot confirm nor deny. We are broadcasting from that neck of the woods. You are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
I wish none of this had happened.
So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. There are other forces at work in this world, Frodo, besides the will of evil. Bilbo was meant to find the ring, in which case you also were meant to have it. And that is an encouraging thought.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From from somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. And we'd like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. This show is the show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle. We talk about propaganda and how the world we live in is some bizarre version of the Upside Down. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. We are streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive, reading your chat and taking your calls if you want to be part of the show tonight. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can also join the Discord and be part of the show that way. And you can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Troubledminds.org, that's the official website. Everything is there. All of our social media links, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, it's all there. Phone number is right on top. Discord is right on top. We're here talking about UFOs. It's kind of what we do. It's one of our things, right? So many shows out there. You know, we just played some clips of Lou Elizondo on Fox, and they kind of touch on it here and there. You get a segment. They get the best guests, right? But they put them on for like 90 seconds, right? A couple minutes or something, and that's not what this is about. And not only that, like sure, the best guests is one thing, but it's less important, in my opinion, than what you think, than what the people out there that are interested in this topic, what you guys actually think. I'd rather hear from you, as always, than get some fancy guest on here to tell us whatever they're going to tell us, right? So with all that said, welcome back to the show, Ash. How you doing there, buddy? Earth to Mars, 1, 2, testing.
Hello, humans. Hello. I am here. Do not worry. Your benevolent Earth Lord is here. I haven't come up with quite a name for myself yet, but I was between enslaving the human race as a reptilian. It's you got time. So I'll stew on it, but maybe Emperor. I don't know. Anyway, maybe it's a little partial to Overlord. Can you put that in the suggestion box? Overlord. It's definitely a rank. It's definitely going to be a rank. Gotta use it. You can't leave that one out. All but right. Yeah, I mean, we are on the precipice of incremental information leaks. Basically, they're doing it as slow as you possibly can, and stuff's happening. So it's really interesting. Again, please, guys, call in. We'd like to hear what you think. What do you think? Do you think this is the big kahuna? Do you think this is it, or you think it's going to be a nothing, Barry? I don't know. I think it's going to get to a point, and then it's going to stop. We're not going to get the alien stuff. I think we're going to get a lot of other stuff. But I think we're going to get... It's either going to turn into a false alien flag thing, which is bad, or it's just going to kind of get to a certain point, and then they're going to just stop talking about it. But I think there's some more room to go, right? We've got some articles here of people talking about kind of the upcoming news, like what's going to happen. There is something is going to happen, like 100%. That little ticker is going to move forward towards disclosure. How far, I don't know, but it's definitely going to move. We have an article here from the MSN, from MSN.com. Upcoming UFO report will be difficult to explain, former national intelligence official says. So here's one thing. right? I mean, I know you have other things you want to talk about, but I thought this was.
We got a phone call. We'll get to
let's do that. Let's do that.
So we got a phone call. We're looking to hear from you guys tonight. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord at troubledminds.org. We got a phone call. We're going to get to that article Ash brought up right after this call. Unless you call, then we'll talk to you instead. So here we go. This is Beechwood in Massachusetts. Welcome. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful, as always. But, I didn't know where to start tonight. It's an awesome topic because I've always been into, this, stuff that's like a little bit off the beaten path. And, like the disclosure is in the mainstream media. I've even, had some family members mention it and stuff. So it's there. What we're going to get is I'm not going to eat what they feed me, just because it's such a weird time. The media almost has this ability, to cry wolf and get away with it. Like they've been twisting stories so long and getting away with it, and then almost coming out and say, yeah, we got it wrong a little bit, but here's the real story. So, they manipulate your mind at the beginning, they go through their thing, and then they come out with the real story. And it could be like you can hide stuff in plain sight that way. Like you could do a full disclosure, and everybody might say that's just crazy. And they could say, like, we did disclose the truth. You told us it was crazy. So now we're just going to continue controlling you the way we feel. And I'm interested in how people get that much control. The media has so much control, and I looked into it. It goes back to the same, small percentage of people and how much stuff is censored. And then, like on the show we were talking about, I know, Bob Lazar, looked into him, Snowden, Gary McKinnon was another one. He's a computer hacker. I think that's how you say his name, Gary McKinnon. I think early 2000s, got in a lot of trouble, but he said, there was all sorts of undisclosed, files. And he was like a vigilante on his own, straight computer genius, what he did. He probably works for them now. It's so weird how you could be bought by money. Everybody has a price. But, with UFOs, there's so many sightings now. There's so many sightings that there has to be some sort of explanation. And I feel like what you're going to get in the mainstream media is it can be manipulated. So it might be true, it may not be true. And then you wonder why people like Snowden and Bob Lazar are allowed to say what they say. So it's almost like a chess game. It's like a chess game. And it relates to, the show we did yesterday, how you can cause false memories. And we know as the general public, we're one step behind. So what's it going to be in the mainstream media? If there's a disclosure, is it going to be, all blacked out stuff? And that's the way it was, which is ridiculous. I hate that when they release a document and it's just all black, and that counts as being, declassified.
Except all the good bits. you can
all the good bits are gone. They're all gone. And
exactly. The FOIA system is so broken too. I mean, there's good information that comes out of that. There's good people doing God's work trying to get that stuff out, in my opinion. But the government is just getting more and more opaque. And that's not what the FOIA process is for. It's to to actually get information out. But of course, right? They expect national security. They cite that. They cite all kinds of things, right? For saying, well, we can't tell you because if we told you, then Russia would know, right? Or China would know, and then we have other problems. I mean, I don't know. Come on. I think this is, like you said, though. They lie to us. They lie, cheat, and steal, and then we're expected to believe. The next time is really the truth, right? Like, really, guys, this time we promise we're telling you the truth. And we're like, Oh yeah. What about every single time since
it
1947?
never ends.
Yeah, it never ends. And you could literally spend your entire life citing government lies, and you'd run out of time. You'd end up dead before you actually plucked them all out. It's sick. It's a sick world we live in, and that's why we talk about it on this show. Yeah, crazy stuff. So you think they're messing with us? You think the government is pulling our chain here?
I do, and then. There's one of the people that people mentioned on this show, I love to listen to him, and was Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, I knew who Joe Rogan was. Oh man, it was when me and my father, we ordered the first UFC. It was either the first or the second. He was a commentator, and he did commentary for a long time. So I knew who he was, like, before he was mainstream, and then he started getting into, the podcast and the mainstream. It was more on a motivational side. And then he went full-blown celebrity. And I really started following him because he is a good fight commentator. He understands the sport. And when you understand, MMA, it's like boxing. When you understand boxing, you watch it a little different. And you watch it maybe the way the judges do. But he's almost blatantly said on his podcast that he can't really say what he wants to. And now a lot of his podcasts now, in the past, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, 5 years, has been main, aliens, DMT, multiple dimensions, a lot of science, a lot of that topic. And he's really putting it out there and selling it. And he almost blatantly says that they can't disclose what they want to talk about. And he's had big names on his show. I mean, he's had Elon Musk on his show.
He's had
Graham, I think it's Graham Nash, and a bunch of people.
He's had everybody, and basically.
He's had Bob Lazar on his show.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody worth talking to, he's.
So are they using him as a pawn?
Did
they buy him off already with a price tag? And that's what I wonder. Nobody knows what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? So once you get a large enough reach and you get enough people listening to you, then people start throwing money at you because they want to control what you say. Interesting, right? Interesting. The whole thing is, and people have called Joe Rogan a gatekeeper, and for probably good reason. We're going to keep on moving here.
He walks the line.
Yeah, well, of course.
But awesome show, and thanks for having me on.
You're the best. Thanks for calling, Beechwood. We got Ash here, so we're gonna take his take on your call, and I appreciate you calling tonight. Have a great night, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too.
Thanks, man. All right, there we go. That's Beechwood from Massachusetts, a friend of the show, giving us his take on what's going on with the government. And let me make a quick comment before you go, Ash. Now, notice Beechwood said that if you listen to a commentator that understands MMA or boxing or something, they look at it differently. They look at the sport differently than the novice would, right? So I'm going to actually put myself in that category because we've been talking about this for 3 years, right? 3 years in April, first week of April. Now, the thing is, when you've kind of parsed and talked about government lies for so long, and it's really what you did week after week after week after week, discovering more information, I think, right? I think you look at this ufology a little bit differently, don't you? Don't you? Well, what's your take on his call there?
Well, on what you just said, it's true. It's like things are just the same stuff recycled, but you can't really confirm anything unless it's from certain sources. If certain sources say certain things, that's something that should be kind of cataloged and noted into the fabric of this UFOology quilt, right? And there's so many things going on, freaking everything from reptilian aliens ruling the world to flat earth to basically all of these things are duly noted. So when Bob Lazar goes on Joe Rogan, he says some stuff duly noted. As Joe Rogan mingles with more insiders, what is Joe Rogan talking about? What is Elon Musk talking about? These are important things to know, and that's a good point. It's you're kind of observing, you're huh, and a lot of it's reading in between the lines, right? It's reading in between the lines of what is really going on and what Why won't they say that? Why are they talking about this? Why do they back off from that? There's a lot of reading in between the lines, and over time you kind of pick up on that and you look for it. Like I mentioned before, there's all this talk about UFOs and stuff, and maybe it's not from here, blah blah blah, but there's no mention of aliens. Okay, so I mean, let's go back. Back in the Roswell, supposedly they recovered bodies then. So if that's true, or any of that is true, it's been a long time that they've known about these things, and so even just them changing the name of UFOs from unidentified aerial phenomena, that has repercussions. Like what? Obviously, it's a rebranding from this like stigma that they've made fun of for like generations at this point. I mean, if you bring up UFOs or aliens, people just like immediately it's like literally the craziest thing you can bring up these days. But the culture is starting to change with Joe Rogan and all this stuff. It is changing. But but you see these incremental changes that they're doing. They're rebranding the aerial phenomena. They're also rebranding extraterrestrial. What do they call it? Extraterrestrial biological entities. Like you're not just saying aliens. That's another language that you hear that is commonly used supposedly by the government. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's tough to sit back and try and decipher it and trying to put that puzzle, that quilt together, and they purposely inject it full of crap. It's like you're trying to like put this puzzle together to make a horse, and they're just slamming in like dinosaur pieces, like Dora the Explorer puzzle pieces. Sometimes they just like dump water on the table. They're constantly trying to mix it up, so you don't really know. You can't really 100% ever pin down the truth, which is on purpose. So with all this to see, it's tough. The first thing he said when he got on, it was, whatever they push out, I'm not going to swallow it. Right? Whatever pill they start giving everyone, I'm not going to swallow it. I think that's a good instinct to have if you've been keeping up with things. Yeah, and again, right? Like at what point it's like a lie after lie after lie. It's like turning on CNN or Fox News and being like, okay, tonight Don Lemon and Sean Hannity are going to tell me the truth. Tonight's the night. You know what I mean? But we're doing the same thing with this whole UFO disclosure thing with the government, relying on the government for information. Now, I do believe that enough public pressure can change things, but I still don't think it will make them disclose, any information that would put us at a national security risk. And from a government entity and from their standpoint, you could classify that as a damn lot of things. You could be like, well, if we said this, even though it's not really directly classified that could hurt national security, well, it could lead people to this, to this, to that, that is, you know what I mean? Like just down the tree. They're able to just classify everything in a blanket manner regarding this because just like Lou Elizondo said in the clip when we started, he said, basically from his quote, and I'm paraphrasing badly, he said, the chances that this is a foreign entity like Russia or China is basically nil, because that means our entire intelligence apparatus is broken and we know nothing about our adversaries, right? That's what he said. But what he did say is that it's very possible it's either ours and we did a terrible job of testing and letting the information out, or it's not ours, which means it's from another world. Exactly. Cue the X-Files music. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you gotta get you. But yeah, so I don't know. I think that's the thing, right? We're talking about UFOs tonight, guys. We're talking about there's a 6-month countdown from December based on this bill. Actually, let me talk about this bill just real fast so everybody understands it. Yeah. All right, this is the point. This is the bill we're talking about. Now, this is, I'm going to scroll up to the top and we can read this. This is the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021. And if you guys want to know where this information came from, this is it right here. I'm linking it, and you can actually find all of the
specific wording right here in this document. This is the actual government document. This is the intelligence.senate.gov website. And if you actually hadn't read this yourself, well, now you know exactly where to get it, okay? You know exactly where to get it. I'm linking it. It will be linked on YouTube in the description box after we're done, and you can find this. Now, this is a huge bill, hundreds of pages, but the easy way to find it is you go here to this site and you search the word unidentified. Hit enter, it'll take you right down to the spot, right? And I'm going to read this to you because this is important. This is what we're talking about. 6 months, all right? Advanced aerial threats. The committee supports the efforts of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force at the Office of Naval Intelligence to standardize collection and reporting on unidentified aerial phenomenon. Any links they have to adversarial foreign governments and the threat they pose to U.S. military assets and installations. However, the committee remains concerned that there is no unified, comprehensive process within the federal government for collecting and analyzing intelligence on unidentified aerial phenomena, despite the potential threat. Right? Like Matthew said, you don't get funding unless you say the word threat, and that was a great point.
And that is a point, is just real quick, is that, they are posturing it as a threat, and we're very skeptical of that, but it's also a way of forcing a hand, right? It's like, we need to look into this. Oh, no, we don't. It's like, yeah, this is a threat. Oh, no, it isn't. Here's some real videos. Oh, well, that's nothing. Okay, now the Navy and the Pentagon confirmed it. Okay, well, I guess that is something. Okay, then it's a threat. We need to do something. So it's kind of like maybe there's kind of like a little internal chess game going on for legislatively between the different intelligence agencies, the military branches and all that stuff. And they're kind of like, some of them want to go forward and some of them don't. And this is kind of a way to kind of checkmate the other ones. That could be possible, right? It could. So I'm saying is like the whole threat narrative could be with non-malicious intent, right? It's possible, right? So I'm just saying.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, all things are possible, and that's the thing, right? We're on the outside. We're trying to like get the information we have and try and come up with make up our own mind, our own conclusion, right? So anyway, this goes on. We're not going to read all this because it just take too damn long. But I've linked it, and here's the crux, right? Basically, they want this. The committee directs the DNI, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense and the heads of such other agencies as the Director and Secretary jointly consider relevant, to submit a report within 180 days of the date of enactment of the Act to the Congressional Intelligence and Armed Services Committee on unidentified aerial phenomena. That would be UFOs, also known as anomalous aerial vehicles, they say, all right? Again, more weird verbiage from the government. This continues, including observed airborne objects that have not been identified, right? UFOs, clearly. They want a detailed analysis of unidentified aerial phenomena with geospatial intelligence, signals intelligence, human intelligence, and measurement and signals intelligence, right? And of course, as reading any government document, even about UFOs, this will bore you to tears. But here's the thing, right? As we're talking about this, as we're thinking about this, as this countdown is happening, what does any of this even mean? If we look at the FOIAs now, right, the Freedom of Information Act requests that come out of people doing God's work, like Muckrock, what is it, Muckrack? I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. I know the Black Vault, John Greenwald Jr. These people are actually out there getting these FOIAs, and they're still blacked out. They're still, I mean, you know what I mean? This is what we're expecting, right? It's like a new FOIA from the government about UFOs, which basically has yielded what? To this point, what has it done? It's yielded a whole lot of hooey, right? We're still talking about it because we have no idea what the hell's really going on. Yeah. And that's the stuff we talk about on this show. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Ash. 702-957-1037. Love to hear what you think. Give us a call. We'll put you on right after the break. Stay tight. Hang tight. Don't go anywhere.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and DLive. Reading your chat, taking your calls. We're also broadcasting on the Fringe FM. Talking UFOs tonight. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org, the official website. What's going on with this? What is actually happening with this 6-month countdown to disclosure, this UFO report that has been, well, I don't know, I guess you could say probably thrust so prominently into the UFO community, into people that are interested in ufology. Now, there's a couple things with this, right? It's hard for me to hate it, even though I'm pessimistic, all right? I just think this is another FOIA request, right? And only because the government can basically hide behind national security. It's what they've done forever, right? It's what they've done since Roswell. It's what they're going to continue to do. And I have no reason to believe that suddenly, because we have slight interest, that suddenly people care, right? Suddenly the government is like, okay, well, we have people, you know, I hate to put it this way. People storm in the Capitol, right? In the old days, you could say that and laugh, and in the new days, you say that and they call you a terrorist. But anyway, I digress. But you get the point, right? Like, there's no torches and pitchforks out there of people like actually saying, "What the heck is going on? What's with these UFOs?" Right? We don't have.
What the heck is going on? What the heck is with these UFOs?
So
I'm sorry.
You're good. Welcome back.
Yeah,
Welcome
yeah.
back, Ash. So, I'm Mike. This is Ash. This is Troubled Minds. We're talking UFOs tonight. Love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org. And yeah. So, okay. So let's go to this. Actually, there's an article here. Let me pull this up real quick. Talking about this. I linked the actual, the bill from the Senate, all right, where they're talking about by the early part of June, we're supposed to have some sort of disclosure, okay? We're supposed to have some sort of, well, I don't know. What do you even call it? Like a report on UFOs, right? Like a report on UFOs. I just don't know. Like I said, it seems suspicious to me that we're even here expecting anything from a government. But here's the thing now. Now, as we kind of get into this, and I've been crapping on the government, right? Because, well, the actual government is crapping on me, right? And probably you too. So you know what I mean? Fair is fair. Fair is only fair. But okay. Now this is an article from WFLA. This is from Tampa, the News Channel 8, right? Now this is an interesting one that just came out. This was March 24th. What is that day? That's today, right? That's today. Look at this headline, Ash. UFO report might miss deadline, Senator Rubio says. There's the first one, right? There's the very first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right? Wow.
Dang. Well, never mind. All right. Cue the outro music. Thank you for stopping by Troubled Minds. You know, what the heck are you already canceling? Come on, man. You can't cancel.
Exactly.
Can't be late with your homework, governments. You can't be late with your homework. I mean, they were late with the checks, right? So, I mean, I guess they can. That's what they do.
Maybe. I think that's. I guess we'll find out. But anyway, this is the point. It's like, okay, now, all right. So you're going to miss your deadline, right? And it's all good, and we just have to like suck it up. How about this? Let's trade, Marco Rubio. How about it's cool if I don't pay my taxes until you get the UFO info out? Let's do that. Can we have a fair trade, Mr. Rubio, if you're out there listening? I'm just saying. I mean, right? But you get the point, right? So we're already hedging. This is just real quick from this Channel 8 in Tampa. So one day after talking to a TMZ photographer about UFOs and the highly anticipated UAP report that is supposed to be submitted by U.S. intelligence agencies by June 1st, Senator Marco Rubio of Florida told Fox Business he is, quote, not sure they're going to come in on time. Oh,
you son of a bleep blop.
Right? Here we go. It continues. But the clock remains ticking for the Pentagon's hush-hush program to investigate UFOs and the other intelligence agencies included in the request. At the Pentagon, it's called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, the UAPTF, which actually, by the way, was recently discovered. It's one dude. It's one dude. The
that's pretty funny.
It's beyond funny. Well, that's why he's late, because he has to do all the work, right? One dude. You know what I mean? It's like, this is how seriously they're taking this. And I think this is part of the problem, right? This is part of the problem. I don't know. I mean, let's play part of the clip. You want to hear part of this clip? This is Marco Rubio talking about this today, about how this may be late. Let's play just a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. Any second you can play now. Okay, it's not going to play. It's not going to play. All right, ad blocks or some
awesome
other things. Yeah, awesome.
Of course.
Technology.
Of course, government.
Exactly.
You know, the government's trying to cover up their incompetence.
Geez. Anyway, okay, so it doesn't really matter, right? The headline here is really all that matters in this scenario, right? So we've been given 6 months. We're told to disclosure, right? The UFO community is all up in a hizzy about this, and they're like, all right, it's coming. They're going to finally tell us about the aliens on June 1st. Well, Marco Rubio says, well, they might miss that deadline. Come on.
They're probably fighting behind the scenes of what is allowed to go in it and what not.
Yeah.
You know, I know that during the Trump administration, they disclosed a lot of information. I think it was during the JFK area or something like that. People were scouring through it, and yeah, like the caller mentioned, there was a lot of black lines, if you know what I mean, just covering up the good stuff. And you know, I suspect it'll be somewhat of the same, right? You know, but yeah, that's a real bummer. I mean, how late does he mention? How late? Is there any details at all, or is it?
Let's see.
You know,
I think
because for the government, late means never. That's what that really means.
Exactly. That's exactly what it means. Not only that, they're like, it's gonna be never, and we're gonna tell you nothing about it. So it's like the double whammy, right? No. So the quote is actually, quote, not sure they're going to come in on time. And that's what happens when you give a bunch of work to one dude. I mean, right? And he probably has other responsibilities and things, right? The TPS reports he's got to do on a daily basis. So of course,
TPS reports,
right?
Of course, yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
So how's he have time to actually, you know, put this report together in 6 months, especially with all the government waste and you know, BS stuff they got to do on a day-to-day basis? I mean, come on. It's hard to take this seriously when they don't take it seriously themselves, and then we're waiting on tenterhooks, bated breath for the early part of June, and we're like, oh, they're gonna tell us about them aliens, aren't they? Nah, come on. Again, like I said, we're crapping on this pretty hard. It doesn't matter what we think. It only matters what you guys think. If you want to be part of the show tonight, part of this conversation, we still have time for you. 702-957-1037. Do you expect anything to come out of this Senate report that's supposed to come in early June, which has now been postponed, according to Marco Rubio, who is the head of all this, by the way, meaning this budgetary thing. Let's actually get the name right. Let's get a name right, Ash. Let's get an actual name right for one time on this show.
No, don't do that. What are you gonna? They're gonna think we can pronounce names, and they're gonna like
expect more.
You make me look stupid, bro. Yeah, don't make me look dumb. Okay?
Okay.
I am terrible with names. Someone could be like, "I'm Joshua XYZ," and I'd be like, "Awesome." Literally a minute later, I'd be like, "What's my name?"
What's up, Bill?
No idea.
What's my name again?
No.
There you go. So you did it. You did it. All right. This is from the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021. This is what this is called. All right. 6 months from December, the early part of June, we're supposed to get some sort of disclosure, right? Some sort of unidentified aerial phenomenon information from the government. And again, like, correct me if I'm wrong. Again, this is why we do this live. This is why we've always done this show live, because I want to hear what you guys think about this. Am I being overly pessimistic? Or do you think that at some point, after they've lied to us like 10,000 times in a row, this is the time. This is the moment where we're going to find out about them aliens? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Ash?
I honestly feel like think about it. The bar has already moved. Like, we can pessimistically look at everything that's been already happened, but the bar has been moved. There are UFO videos. They've been officially claimed. It's just really slow. It's just, I guess if it keeps going, it's great. Even if it takes another like 5 years, as long as it's still always going. The crappy part, the poo-poo part that we're all kind of scared of is it's just going to stop, right? And that's kind of like what we're scared of, right? Is that they're going to kick the can around and then we're not going to hear about it anymore, and that's going to be it. And all this momentum is for naught. So I think, honestly, I think it will happen like that. But in the meantime, how much can we get out, right? And so, well, that's what is going to be in this report, right? Yes, it's going to be delayed. How is it going to be delayed forever or not? I don't know. But we do have that article. Did you want to go to that one, or did you want to go to a different one where upcoming UFO report will be difficult to explain?
Yeah, let's do that.
Or do a different one.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So not only are they telling us it's going to be late now, we're also getting from, I think it was Daniel Ratcliffe, the former DNI, right? I think this is
a former top national intelligence official.
Yeah.
Daniel Chayton.
Ratcliffe. No.
Daniel Chayton. No, the Twitter. Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, there's actually a video.
Okay,
there's a video actually. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, now we're looking to hear from you guys. What do you think about all this? Is this the time the government's finally not pulling one over on us? That's what I want to know. Marco Rubio says it's going to be late. The Disclosure Project, we're going to find out about aliens. It's coming. It's just not going to be on time. Well, let me tell you, Marco Rubio, let's talk taxes, buddy. Let's talk taxes.
And some of these officials, they were saying that, during last year they weren't going to get this stuff out because it was just the news cycle was so congested. And they were saying it as if we haven't even gotten the UFO stuff out yet. As if, this is planned. It is preordained. I do have a level of confidence that stuff is going to come out. I'm like, I'd be willing to bet on it. But like I said, how much of it is going to come out? Are we going to learn about them aliens? Man, I don't know. They really do not want to talk about them aliens, though. I mean, of all the things that come out, it's like even the Bob Lazar, these leakers, when they talk about them aliens, you could see it in their eyes, like, I hope they don't kill me, right? Do you know what I'm talking about? They talk about the propulsion. They talk about this. They'll talk about on and on. They talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. But as soon as they really start kind of nailing the alien stuff down, people get uncomfortable. There's something about the actual alien thing that is is either it's uncomfortable or it's just the government really for some reason or another doesn't want people to know about it, which is I don't know what reason. I mean, I could speculate, but I mean, have you gotten that inclination after looking at everything for so long?
Yeah, no, we're not going to get any of this. Yes, you're right. They don't want to talk about entities. They don't want to talk about any of this stuff. It's always it's always dodge. It's always deflect. It's always give us, a bait and switch. It's always here, there, the other thing, but not actual information. It doesn't surprise me, dude. It just doesn't surprise me. That's why we have a show here and we're talking about this stuff. And again, don't get me wrong. We're being awfully negative about this. And so I know that some people are awfully the opposite, positive about this. And they're like, well, hey, this is going to push disclosure forward. Even if it's a millimeter, it's moving forward, right? Yeah, fine.
Right.
But I mean, it's a pace controlled by a government that lies constantly. So you know what I mean? Even if we gain a millimeter, we might lose 3.5 feet next year because they said, well, we changed our mind about that and it was actually inaccurate. We'll get back to you 10 years from now. You know what I mean? You never really know. Yeah. So you want to play part of this? It is. Okay. This is from MSN.com. I linked it. Upcoming UFO report will be difficult to explain. Former national intelligence official says. All right. This is straight from Twitter. And this is Maria Bartiromo gets former DNI John Radcliffe to talk about UFOs. Let's hear it.
Actually, is a program that's been in place for a few years in terms of a task force that has been there under the National Defense Authorization Act. But as you correctly point out, Maria, there's now a report that will be issued by the Pentagon, by the Secretary of Defense, and the Director of National Intelligence. I actually wanted to get this information out and declassified before I left office, but we weren't able to get it down into an unclassified format that we could talk about quickly enough. But frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public. Some of those have been declassified. When we talk about sightings, we're talking about objects that have been seen by Navy or Air Force pilots or have been picked up by satellite imagery that frankly engage in actions that are difficult to explain, that movements that are hard to replicate, that we don't have the technology for, or traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom. So in short, things that we are observing that are difficult to explain. And so there's actually quite a few of those, and I think that information is being gathered and will be put out in a way that the American people can see. We always, when we see these things, Maria, we always look for a plausible explanation. Weather can cause disturbances, visual disturbances. Sometimes we wonder whether or not our adversaries have technologies that are a little bit further down the road than we thought or that we realized. But there are instances where we don't have good explanations for some of the things that we've seen. And, when that information becomes declassified, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about that.
Can you tell us where it was seen?
Actually, all over the world. There have been sightings all over the world. And when we talk about sightings, the other thing I will tell you is it's not just a pilot or just a satellite or some intelligence collection. Usually we have multiple sensors that are picking up these things. And so, again, some of this are they're unexplained phenomenon. And there's actually quite a few more than have been made public. So I think it'll be healthy for as much of this information to get out there as possible so that the American people can see.
Okay. You know what makes me suspicious about this? The dude said the American people like 3 times. Like once you're trying to say you're doing anything in the name of the American people, my tinfoil tingles. I don't know. Am I wrong there? Am I?
Bro, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm like, I don't know if I'm smooth brain or just like hype man or whatever, but I'm excited. Like he literally says like there's some stuff I can't talk about, but when it comes out, I'll be able to talk about it more. Meaning he's going to come back and he's going to explain some stuff, and there's some sightings that are super weird. I don't think this is going to be full blown alien disclosure. I think it's just going to be just pushing a little bit on the UFO stuff, and it may be enough that the government gets to kind of pass a law or do a thing that they want. But it is still kind of, it's still kind of exciting. It's still history in the making. So he's going to talk about some crazy stuff. He did mention in this article, it says that he's not talking about stuff that was confirmed by a pilot, like something that was confirmed by multiple different vectors, multiple sensors picking up these things. So I don't know. That's kind of exciting. That's a little bit exciting. I think it's, I get it that the government is playing a narrative and it's frustrating, and they clearly have a body, or Bleeblop 7 is like literally working with the government. There's so many rumors of that kind of stuff. And they can literally just walk them out and be like, hey, what's up? And then it'd be over. But it's still exciting that anything's happening. I mean, nothing was happening for so long in this kind of field. It was all just speculation and groundwork. So I don't know, maybe the well's too dry. Maybe I'm a thirsty, starving man in the desert, but just any little bit of nutrition is refreshing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I also hear what you're saying for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, come on. We have like somebody from the government being, well, we're gonna do our best to get the information out to the American people, right? Oh, come on. Come on. God, like, I wasn't born yesterday. Come on. I literally, you can hear that every day. You turn on some jerk politician and they're saying that every damn day. And guess what? nothing ever happens. Anyway, so we can be at odds here. It's okay. We can agree and we can disagree and we can still be friends. It's all good. But
we could be the yin and the yang of it, man.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's cool. It works. It works.
It's all good. All right. So
I hate you, Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the worst. I hate you.
The worst.
Okay.
No. I prefer to be the worst of the worst. All right. So anyway, that's what we're talking about tonight. What do you guys think about this UFO disclosure bid? 6 months. Again, Marco Rubio says, oh, by the way, it might come in late. All right. It might come in late. Fine. Well, fine. Again, let's negotiate, Mr. Rubio, being that it's the government of the people, by the people, for the people, all of those fantastic things. Let's negotiate your UAP information versus my taxes. And not only that, if I'm not satisfied, I don't pay this year. How about that? Let's negotiate. Can my people, could you reach out to Rubio's people? Let's get this set up. Let's make this happen. But anyway, you get the point. I'm being.
Is that me? Am I?
No.
Should I? No.
No.
Oh, okay.
You're free and clear. It's okay.
I could send a stern email. I'll do it.
Okay. I could call and leave a voicemail that will be listened to by an assistant and never answer.
By nobody. No. Nobody. I mean, I'd put everything I own on a non-response. At best. Exactly. A automated answer.
Exactly.
That's it.
Right. Exactly. I've done it. I've called these offices. I've sent emails. I've sent letters. I've done all this, and that's why I'm so negative regarding these things, because you get a form letter back, you get nobody call you, you get literally. I when I called about the Obamacare thing, I was calling all my senators, Congress people. Guess what? All the voicemail boxes were full. Like you couldn't even leave a damn voicemail. And then you get the crappy form letter back that says, we're really happy that you're concerned with government and the way we do things, right? The same one they send to everybody, no matter how you gave a damn about it. Anyway, I'm digressing here into just kind of crapping on the government, but you get the point. It's like, how do we expect something new when every single day it's just the same old thing. Same old thing. Anyway, we got a minute or so. Let's wind this up. Are you actually optimistic, Ash? Why are you optimistic? 1 minute. Let's wrap this sucker up.
Well, I don't know what this crescendo is going to be. I don't know. I don't know if, like I said, if Bleep Blop 7's going to come out on stage and hand everyone a stimulus check. I don't know if it'll ever be that. I've heard rumors that that'll never happen, right? But, we are in an era where the government is saying there are UFOs and they don't know what it is and they don't know how it moves, and they are insinuating that it's something potentially not of this world. So it's exciting times. I don't know what's around the corner based on 2020. Hopefully that we hit our peak on stupid stuff, and we're going to be coming down from that. But we want to hear what you guys have to say. Call in. Let's hear what do you think? What do you think about this?
If you're listening on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop, Lighting the Void, and then after that, The Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable. Great stuff, guys. If you're listening to us on YouTube, DLive, or Facebook, 1 more hour of Troubled Minds. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. The conversation continues. This is a conversation that spans the ages. We're just trying to kick the can down the road, keep it going. Appreciate you listening. I'm Mike. This is Ash. This is Troubled Minds. We do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll be back tomorrow night. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening, you guys. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. This is Michael Strange from Troubled Minds. Did you hear that scientists recently discovered radio waves coming from Proxima Centauri? Well, I cannot confirm nor deny. We are broadcasting from that neck of the woods. You are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. All right, guys, here's the deal. We're going to take a quick break, couple minutes, and we're going to be back for another hour. We're still doing this. We're not going anywhere. We are now off of the Fringe FM, and we are just streaming YouTube, D-Live, Facebook, and we're still taking your calls. What do you think? Do you have reason to be optimistic about what's happening with this 6-month UFO thing? Or do you think it's a bunch of BS? Do you think, again, after 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 lies since 1947 in Roswell, do you think this is finally the time we get the truth? I'm willing to hear both sides. Again, we can agree, we can disagree, we can still be friends. It's part of the whole show. You listen to Fox News, CNN, and they tell you if you disagree with people, you have to hate them. That's not what's up. We do it different. We can disagree, we can still love each other. It's all good. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubledminds.org. We'll be right back. Couple minute break. Top off your drink. Grab some popcorn. Put the kids to bed. 1 more hour. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What's up? We're back. We're back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. I don't know if Ash is here. What's up, Ash? Maybe, maybe not. All right, so we're still talking about this UFO 6-month dealio. Because of course, who else is, right? You can tune into these things and you get these guests, these experts, right? And they all have their opinions, and it's fine, right? I have my opinion, you have your opinion. It's all good. But right, this is our show. This is the Everyman Show. Like I always say, you don't have to be Linda Moulton Howe. You don't have to be Lou Elizondo. Sure, they're welcome on this show, but you don't have to be those people to be part of this, because your opinion matters too. And to be perfectly honest, I'd rather hear what you think than what they think. Because, of course, they're on record all over the place for years and years and years and years. They're all over the place. Well, us, we don't really get that option, do we? Many times. Many times we're on the outside, twiddling our thumbs, listening in, maybe being frustrated. But this show is your show. This show is our show. And we get to say what we want. You want to be part of it tonight? We're still talking. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link. Join us there. troubledminds.org. And yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. Still talking about this bizarro, interesting thing that's happening. And let's revisit this real quick, because I thought this was an important thing that DNI John Radcliffe said. Thanks. I don't know if Ash is out there. Ash 1 2. Testing 3 4. Yeah, he's there.
5 6 7 8 9.
Yeah, 11 12. Yeah, we did it. We did it. Let's play this. Actually, let's listen to you. And then we'll play this. We'll revisit this in just a sec. But I don't know. Like there's a lot here. Again, it just I don't know. You know what I mean? This is the question show, not the answer show. You guys know what I think. We got some good chat to read. We can read some of the chat, but I don't know. We were doing the sum up of as we finished the show there, but you know, the radio show. But now we're doing the streaming show. So I don't know. You tell me. Where do we go from here, man? Where do we go from here?
Well, shit.
There, we did it. So. We did it.
That's the most important thing.
That's the most important thing. Now we can we don't have the FCC on our neck, and we can be a little more free, etc. So on.
Look. Let me go right the fuck out in the left field. Okay, I think that we've negotiated. Okay, so the Farsight people, and I bring them up every week. I just watch their whole thing. they did remote viewings on all the meetings, initial meetings with aliens that the government has had. And there's different factions, different groups, and it's complicated. But basically, our government wanted stuff. So this is what so it's a just so you guys know what I'm talking about. They're remote viewers, and they're a collection of really skilled ones. And so they'll have a topic, and the topic will be just a number. And from there, the remote viewer does remote viewing. He gathers, collects his data on what he experiences and he feels. And then he sends it in. And then at the end, they collect all the data and then they present it. That's basically what happens. So the person will pick the topic. The topic for this was meetings with extraterrestrials, and then they defined different groups in those meetings. And it was really interesting. Supposedly, the narrative that is forming there is that we had meetings with different alien groups, and we had demands, and they wanted stuff, and we've only came to terms with a few groups. And the groups that we came in terms with were kind of like shitty, and that they've over time have gotten enough leverage on our government or have corrupted a portion of our government. So, and I think, in my opinion, based on what I know, they to some extent they run things. They dictate policy here on Earth. And look, the aliens are supposed to be way more advanced than us, and for whatever reason, they don't want the secret out either. And the conclusion is that they take advantage of humanity in secret. They don't want humanity to know what they do, or they don't care. So, you know, when there's a truth like that, the government doesn't really want to tell people, hey, so most of the aliens, especially the ones we work with, they kind of suck. That's like not a very fun disclosure, right? So it's not even worth disclosing, and that's kind of what I think. I think, right? I'm not all the way. I'm not, you know, out so far out in left field. I'm falling off the edge of the flat Earth, right over there. And then I'm just off the cliff. But you know, I keep tabs on these things, and that's kind of like what I think. I think that to some extent they call the shots. And it's funny, Alex Jones just mentioned that. He just went on some show, and that's what he thinks too. He thinks the aliens call the shots. I don't know. You think if there's aliens, you think they call the shots, Mike? The smart ones?
Of course. Well, and that's really the. So once you really start getting deep into this conversation, and you know the implications are enormous, literally enormous. If we've had contact with extraterrestrials in some capacity through governments, of course. I mean, like, can you imagine like the negotiations that go on between just, you know, state parties, right? Like between, let's say, China and Russia, or, you know, Russia and the United States, or whatever, right? Like we're talking trade, we're talking military, we're talking oil, we're talking whatever, right? Like it's an unbelievable amount of things that goes on, the dirty dealings. But imagine what an extraterrestrial negotiation would be like. Oh, I don't know. Right. Let's throw it out there and be like, oh, well, let's just say, well, how about from the perspective of the extraterrestrial? How about we give you a smidge of our technology, and you give us this many people a year?
Right.
That you don't report. Right. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine that.
But there's a future checkmate to that too. Like if aliens are advanced in like diplomacy and strategy, it's like if the government's that desperate to do it, now they can't come out and say it. Right? Now they can't come out and say it. They're like, oh shit, even if we wanted to disclose, we can't disclose because we've done all this horrible shit. Right? That is. And I know you've heard that rumor too, that they supposedly take a certain amount of people a year, and you know, it's really annoying because like there's a group of humans who think they know best, right? And they're fucking going up against, if this is true, they're going up against superior intelligences. It's like, come on, bro, like. We should all be in on this. This is all of our problem, right? You might be handing over our genetics to them. Maybe they can't live here unless they have enough test subjects and they go through and then they create. You know what I'm saying? Like the government could be fucking the whole thing up behind the scenes like spectacularly, and we wouldn't know.
And would you
know?
be shocked?
Anyway,
would you be shocked?
No, I mean that's honestly, it's what I expect. I'm hoping something to the contrary. I'm hoping, I'm not feeling so good about it, right? So anyway, that's kind of like where I cut you off. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No, we're good. We're good. We're looking to hear from you guys. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. That's 702-957-1037. I got to slow down. I talk too fast quite a lot. Troubledminds.org is the official website, and you can find the phone number, the Discord link. You can find all of our social media. You can find actually, we got to put Ash up on there. I'm going to put you up on that website. You can find Ash the Reptilian from Mars on there.
No, don't do it.
Why not?
No, I don't want them to know. No, I'm just joking. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Speaking of Ash the Reptilian from Mars, you want to plug the channel real quick? So we got one guy in Discord. We got Jay in Discord. Looking to hear from you guys. Like you, as you know, if you've listened to the show for any length of time, we talk a lot. Clearly, right? It's a talk show. So, don't begrudge us. We apologize greatly for what we've subjected you to. But we do it because we want to hear from you. We literally, you hear what we think all the time, every week. But the reason for doing it is because we want to hear what everybody thinks. So please join the conversation tonight. 702-957-1037. If you can hear me right now, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. It is March 24th. It is a Wednesday night. And ticked over to Thursday on the East Coast at just after the witching hour. So I'm literally talking to you guys. If you're out there, give us a call. But I mean, this is a big conversation. And this is why we continually have it. This is why we stay up to date on the UFO news as we can and all the rest of this, because like I said, who does? Just who, you get like a little, what was that? Like a 2-minute segment on Fox News with Lou Elizondo. Like, this is the type of stuff that's happening out there. So there are larger conversations to be had, and that's why we do this. So anyway, all right, back to you, Ash, and then let's go to Jay. Jay's in the caller queue. So I don't know. Tell me, am I too pessimistic on this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the government doesn't gain anything by disclosing stuff. That's not a strategic advantage, right? So to expect them to do something out of the kindness of their hearts or to inconvenience themselves and make their job harder, it's just, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes that we don't know about all the time. And it's just, we're kept in the diet so we can have our happy lives, right? So there's some cool comments. I said the negotiations with aliens. And Johnny says tall whites. You've heard about those, right? The tall whites. Matt says lizard people. And Matt also says, how do I get a job as an alien ambassador? Well, Matt, how do you feel about probing?
Hey, did you know?
Number one resume skill.
The best way to test yourself for COVID these days is with an anal probe. We seem to be like, things are coming together, and it seems like
full circle, Mike.
Oh, geez. Yeah. All right. So there we go. Looking to hear from you guys. We're just the third hour is kind of like we digress into a bunch of Beavis and Butthead types. But again, if you guys want to save us from ourselves, 702-957-1037. Join the Discord, troubleminds.org. NS on YouTube says, you talk as fast as Ben Shapiro sometimes. You know what? Ben Shapiro ain't got shit on me. I literally am trying constantly to slow myself down. I could outdo Ben Shapiro in my sleep. Let's go.
You do. You get a lot of stuff out, bro, in a quick amount of time. That's pretty impressive. That's good.
Thank you. Let's go to Jay. Jay, you were on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How are you, my friend?
Stuff out, bro.
Good, Mike. I'm good. This is funny. This is funny shit right here, Mike.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
Now we're
so
talking.
Instead of doing the anal probe, why don't you just put like litmus or something on the toilet paper? So when you wipe your ass,
No, Jay. No. That's not what the American.
Are you talking about if you wipe your butt, it changes colors if you have COVID?
That's a great idea, right?
No,
let's
be
let's not make it red. Let's not make it red or brown.
Jay, that's not what the American people want. Don't you listen to our fearless leaders, man? That's not what the American people want. The American people want a real anal probe, right? We want it the right way. No.
Well, we're getting it right now anyway, so we might as well get it the real way.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah. Would you take the probe to get extra stimulus?
No, probably not.
Well, I haven't thrown out a number.
I made out pretty well through the whole thing. I really did good when the whole turmoil, other than going out of business and everything else like that. But I have talents, so people hire me.
Yeah,
if something's broken, you need me to fix it. Okay, you don't have any money. Well, you gave us free dinner at your restaurant, and we'll call it even.
Yeah,
I made out really well.
Yeah, no, I understand. And so we'll get off the ass jokes, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's a little.
Oh yeah, we're getting fucked, dude.
Yeah.
Hardcore. It's a good thing we're off the air, right?
Yes, sir. So, okay. I'd have kicked you off already. Now look, this is the thing. Do you trust the government in this 6-month UFO report? That's really the question.
Sure ain't.
Do you think
not a chance?
Since 1947, I'm going to frame it this way because I've been the pessimist all night. Since 1947, is this finally the time they tell us the truth about aliens?
They'll give us enough to keep us interested. That's my take on it. I agree with both you guys. I just, Nash was there with the hammer right on the head. A couple of statements that he made, and so were you. We kind of want to be the advocate of all the things, but the thing is, the road that we're probably going down is actually in the middle. There's going to be part of it that's on one side and part of it's on the other side, and we're really still all going down the same road. It doesn't matter what they tell us or what we think or what we make up in our heads, or they force feed us through the social media, news, AI, whatever. We're going to get to the same place no matter what. It'd be kind of nice if they told us about it, in my personal opinion, Is it the Stargates? Are there really these great big ships? Is the Project Blue Beam or the chemtrails or whatever they're doing so they can hide the crap? You go and listen to all the different shows and books and everything else like that. What's real? What's not real? What's science fiction? What's some guy's premonition? Nostradamus was talking about stuff like this. There's, artwork from 1400s. It's in there, Why'd that guy put that in there? Why? What gave him the idea to even think about putting that in there? He probably saw something. I'll just throw it in there off the side. No, you'll probably ever notice.
Get a Ash. I take most of the calls, so you get Jay. You wrangle him this time. Get him, Ash. Get him.
What's up? Hey, Jay. No. Thanks. For saying that. I had some good points, and then making Mike feel better and say he also had some. But thanks for that. But it's like whatever they say, it's not going to be the whole picture, and it just seems like they're definitely going to be like, what are those? As far as like UFOs are concerned, much further are going to go. I mean, are they going to get to the point? Well, let me ask both of you guys. What do you think? Are they going to get to the point where they're like, it's like it's not ours and it's not China's, and it's like something else? I mean, to definitively say that is actually a big point, and I think that if they are going to disclose, that's going to be like one of the phases where they're going to be like, we don't know what it is. It's something else before they would ever say anything. And I think if they get to that point where they're really saying that, I think that disclosure is coming. What do you think? Do you guys think it'll ever get to that point? Do you think that's going to happen soon?
Go ahead, Jay.
I really think it's going to take it to the point where, Independence Day or Close Encounters of the Third Time is like, oh, well, we can't hide that. It's something huge. They stop by, they shake somebody's hand, they leave. Thank God that's the way it happened. Or no, we're, reptilian food. I think they'll give us a little bits and pieces and stuff like that. So hopefully the smart people get interested in physics and science or botany or whatever. to help combat it. But really, I think they should be a little bit more forthright with their info, just so people look at it. There's something else here. I mean, get the smart people on it. You know, if you're good in your field, research or whatever it might be, let's go. What are they doing here? Why are they here? What can we do to help them? What can they do to help us? Do we need to run, hide?
And if they're hostile, let's mobilize. Let's get it together. let's.
I would recommend hiding personally. I would recommend hiding.
Fair
it
enough.
Doesn't matter how much you agree with the Second Amendment. I would recommend hiding.
Well, okay, but that means they've got the life scan thing. You know, you could just go like
underground is where I would.
Well, exactly.
Rocks, big rocks.
Okay, I'm going down fighting. I'm going down swinging. I got some dopamine hits for y'all. We got in Fringe FM on their Discord. Morticia Adams says at 8:38 p.m. This show is great. How can I get auto-linked to remind me of the show? There you go. There you go, guys. Somebody tonight told us we're great. How about that? It makes me want to continue tomorrow. The show is on tomorrow. All right. Yeah, there you go. Laughing at ourselves as we always do. We got. You want to do like a four-way? You guys good with the four-way? Everybody okay with that? Ash, you get to wrangle the calls.
Fine.
Let's wrangle the calls, Ash. You're up.
Sure. All right.
You're practicing the show host. You are the show host. I'm Beavis. Let's do this. And we have
wait. Am I normally Beavis? Or normally you're Butthead. I got it. Okay. All right.
We're switching.
Yeah. I got it. Okay. Throw them softballs up at me. Let's do it.
All right, you got it. So we got crap. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I got like a weird refresh. Okay, here we go. We got Beechwood coming on. So we got Beechwood here. We got Beechwood from Massachusetts. We got Jay from New York. We got Ash. We got Mike. We're talking UFOs tonight. What's up, Beechwood? Welcome to the conglomerate. How are you, my friend?
Getting deja vu.
I'm doing wonderful. As before, I'm putting up shelves in my garage, and I got a lot done. So
that's 2 nights in a row, bro. That's 2 nights in a row. You're killing that garage.
You know, it's so much is going on that I forget. Like, you forget to bring up and mention. And like I called yesterday, we were talking about. Channeling in people, basically, the general subject. And one of the things I brought up was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and how, he may have channeled things from the future. But however, in that book, the person that wrote the book, from the perspective and the characters, they're prisoners. They're prisoners, yet they get taken on the most incredible journey. So, like what the government has that control right now. If you really, really want to know, if they know, they could control you by, saying we're going to show you everything, but you got to do everything we say too. It's a bizarre coincidence. And then I truly believe that there are extraterrestrials here. And the reason I believe this is the basic control of, human society. Everybody gives away a third of their paycheck for taxes. And you bring up taxes all the time. I have to pay taxes on the land I inherited from my family. I don't have a say where it goes. And it's everybody's okay with it, though. Everybody's okay with it.
I'm not.
Yeah, don't get Mike started, man. Don't get Mike... No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead. Keep
going. And everybody accepts that. So it's a weird. You gotta look at yourself and realize you're in a comfort zone, and then there's a possibility that extraterrestrials may not want anything to do with us. We may be the least desirable thing on this planet, and when you look around at the planet, what it has to offer. And there's a seed bank. There's actually several of them. But, there's a couple of famous ones you can look up, and they're seed banks. They contain, seeds of allegedly as much as they can get. And if you were an extraterrestrial and you came to this planet, that would be more valuable than gold. Like if you were an extraterrestrial and I came here and I said, give me your 100 greatest people and have them gather up with all their riches, would it be a bunch of people with gold bars and diamonds that are famous, or would it be, dirt and seeds and nothing? What's actually important in the universe? We don't know what an extraterrestrial life form may be seeking. And if we
or what they're thinking, right? Yeah, because there's an infinite universe, there's an infinite galaxy out there. Like, there could be infinite of all resources. What would the Earth even have to offer? And it would be just what's unique to the Earth is the biology, the plants. Maybe that's all they would care about. Or maybe aliens are thinking they're in such weird. They're so weird and foreign to us. We can't even communicate with them properly, right? It's possible. Yeah, it's a crazy thought. It's a crazy thought.
It's 100% possible that we just may not communicate with them, correctly. And I just think it's interesting, human language is evolving. I'd say it's devolving, but at one time,
that's fair. That's fair.
Like Old English, and now we have things like an acronym, like a short term, like LOL, OMG.
Okay,
GTFO.
I got to do my part as a butthead over here. Poop emoji. Poop emoji. That's all I got to say.
The poop emoji. It's incredible.
I was watching The Patriot the other day, and it was like, what the heck? Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead about telepathy.
Well, just telepathy is they talk about it as language, but it's almost more of a feeling. Like when we say words, we try to express our emotions to the best that we can. And if you look at old English, like what the English language is based on, and our English language that we speak, that I'm speaking, is they say Shakespeare has a little bit to do with it, when it started. But now it's devolved to memes, and the way that we communicate, we're trying to eliminate the words and put our feelings into this this picture, this one thing that expresses everything that we're feeling at one moment. And in a way, it's devolving, but it could be taming evolution the way we're supposed to be, that we don't have to have the middleman with writing everything down in the language, that we can just communicate directly.
Are you still thinking about that telepathy episode we had previously? That kind of stuck with you a lot, huh? Yeah, me too. I think that I think from all the abduction experiences, just any experience, even with the ones where they came down and some country in Africa and visited school children, consistently all the aliens have some sort of telepathy. And it's at what point did that become the standard, and how? Is that a natural thing, or did they all realize everyone else had telepathy and went for it, or it's interesting. It's as soon as we know about aliens and what they do, kind of what we do will naturally change overnight, and maybe that's a part of the control mechanism. Maybe that's the reason, one of the reasons. I don't know, but. Yeah, this is good stuff. It's good stuff. So what do you think? So what's your opinion on the UFOs? Definitively, going back to the original subject. Is it thumbs up, thumbs down? Do you think something's going to happen? You think nothing's going to happen? What was your conclusion? You think it's going to be in the middle?
They're there. I mean, they're there. It's. I think something's going to happen. I really do. I think they're going to sugarcoat it and try to get everybody to like just be like, oh, yeah, whatever, UFO, we know about it. But no, I think something has to happen. And I think it's in human nature, too. It's like not necessarily in my lifetime, but like if we go with the rate we're going, 50, 100 years, it's going to be rough. It's going to be, it's proven through history. I mean, we fight with each other, but I think they're going to sugarcoat it, though. To be general, I think there's going to be a middleman in the situation, and that's human nature. Is that there's going to be a top group that's going to try to control everything, both sides, and we may not have a say in it as the general public. But I'm open to everything. I don't know. I'll say I don't know, and I feel that gives me an edge. Just saying I don't know exactly what's going to happen.
That's fair. That's fair. That way you're not wrong. That way you're not wrong. But I think you're right. I think if they're going to say it, they're going to say it as softly and as quietly and as take as little responsibility as possible. Jay, what do you think about everything he said? Do you have any
Well,
input?
I think Beechwood's dead on. We're not going to have a say. I mean, really think about it. There's 67,000 people on Facebook that like the show and everything else like that. We're a peanut. And let's just pick these guys for the food. That's. I really think we're just right there that they're not going to tell us nothing. They're going to give us enough to keep us interested and beating around the bush, and then it's going to come down to the day where they can't deny it anymore. We lied. Yeah. Everybody else was right. The guys with the tinfoil wrapped around in their hats with the alien head on the
Wait. Hold on, though. What?
I was plugging your new product.
No.
I gave you the guys that would make them for you. They're like $10 a piece.
No. So okay. So if it comes down to that moment, and it's the WTF moment, and it's too late, and disclosure has come and gone, and they missed their chance, what does that mean? Does that literally mean
it happens May 15th instead of June 1st or whatever day the aliens decide, fuck the United States, we're going to do it on the 15th of May instead of June.
Exactly.
Here we are. What are you going to do now?
Motherships in the atmosphere, right? Like that's what that looks like, right? Motherships in the atmosphere move into checkmate, kind of like a old school Independence Day. Yeah. All right. Back to you, Ash. Back to you guys. I'm going to keep drinking beer. You guys are doing fine. Carry on.
You see what Mike's doing? He's trying to take the day off.
He's having an extra beer. He's got to take the dog out, man. That's what he's really doing. He had to take the dog out for a pee.
Oh, yeah, the new puppy. Yeah, I mean, so... I'm actually looking through Reddit, and there's a lot of stuff on there, and I'm actually very hopeful with the comments. They're like, people are like, "Whoa, is it coming?" And like I said earlier, this stuff has kind of happened before, where you kind of get a little excited, and then it's a nothing burger. And I forget which caller it was, but he was really like jaded at this point, which is fair, which is absolutely fair. But it's still pretty interesting. It's interesting that something's happening. We're going to learn a little bit more. Yeah, and at what point have they said enough? And it's kind of up to us to like give a shit and say like, okay, there are aliens. Like at what point, you know what I mean? Could they literally go around the whole topic 360, like literally hit everything, every piece of little information, and then still people wouldn't, believe? It's crazy. But yeah, it's nuts. And yeah, I mean, if they keep going and they keep, if they talk about everything, talk about the UFOs, they talk about the little seats, they talk about how they can't be made here. At what point is it like, okay, it's aliens, like, and we as a population accept that, and we start like having those conversations. I mean, the stigma's been going on for so long. I mean, have you guys ever had the experience where you kind of like get high on life and you're having a few beers or hanging out and you're like, you know what? You look it up at the stars and you bring this up with people and they're like, oh.
That's a question that I want to ask. when you look up at the stars, can you actually see the Milky Way?
I've only ever seen it once with like zero light pollution.
Yeah.
You have to have like no light pollution.
Well, yeah, I know. I take kids out backpacking and stuff like that out in the Adirondacks and stuff like that. It gets pretty nice up there once you get up towards Canada way. It's really nice.
You've seen it too? I was just
wondering, what about Beechwood?
What's up,
Beechwood? Can you see the Milky Way?
I'm still here. I have only really seen the Milky Way once, and it was in way North Vermont, and it was on a new moon, no moon at all, and it was beautiful. Like, I'm pretty sure it was the Milky Way. I had my little book.
Oh, if it's the Milky Way, you'll know it, dude. You'll know the Milky Way when you see it.
There are a billion more stars than I can see.
We see
where I am. It's incredible.
Right, we got a lot of light pollution here too. That's kind of that's what I was getting at. They could be sitting at 50,000, 100,000 feet, dude. You'd never see them. A little black spot in the stars. I'm interested. I can't find great images of the moon. I look for as many images of the moon online as I can. And then I look at like Google Earth images, and I can read my license plate in front of my house, and then I look at the moon. Like, why can't telescope.
we get more detailed pictures of that?
Telescope and a 35 millimeter camera, man. Really. We used to take the Boy Scouts out. When I was a young camp counselor, I was probably only like 15 years old. I had to teach them astrology merit badge. I hated it. It was boring. I already knew the stuff from science, The kids that took it were jerks, But the Air Force gave us a telescope. It was a tubular telescope, the refracting, the one with the big mirror in the bottom of it. I want to make sure that I think it's a refracting. It had a 35 millimeter lens mount on it. It was from the Air Force. It was in, I'll say 3 for the sake of exaggeration, but I think it was 4. Huge cases that took 2 kids on handles on each side. We used to carry it up to the top of this field out in the middle of nowhere at the Boy Scout camp. And we'd set it up so they could do their star watching thing for their merit badge requirement. And dude, you could see the rings of Saturn with that thing. You look at the moon with that thing, it would hurt your eyes after about 5 minutes because that's the sun reflecting back in your eye. But I mean, you could see the craters really, really well. And the telescopes nowadays, they're cheap. They're like $50.
Yeah, that's awesome. But that kind of shows me the Earth isn't flat too. When people with the flat Earth theory, because I know I've heard if you put a telescope in the center of the moon and then you move it to the edge, you have to refocus because it has a curvature.
Yeah, it's further away. Yeah, it definitely is. I got a really cool autofocus binoculars, man. Yeah.
All right, guys. You guys are fantastic. Awesome takes. We're gonna finish this show up. Ash and I got some articles we want to hit. Final thoughts. Let's go to Beechwood first, and then we'll go to Jay next. Beechwood. Final thoughts, my friend. Aliens? Yes or no? Do you think we should trust the government in June? What the hell's going on with this?
Final thought. The aliens have been running things forever. I think they're here. I kind of know they're here. But I also have this weird theory that there might actually only be a few humans. Like there might only be, like everybody might be an alien, and there might only actually be a few humans left. And humans, there may be some of the biblical stuff might be true, that a human was created in the image of God. I don't know what the government's going to give us for UFOs. I think they already did their research project, is how people are going to react. And I think they're going to feed as much into the media that will give them as much control back, so like equal opposite reaction. They're going to try to get as much control back out of the situation regardless whether it's true or not. Just take advantage of the situation. And that's what you got to watch out for.
And use it against
other
us,
than that,
right?
I mean,
Use it
I
against
appreciate you having me on with the four-way. It's awesome. But
the four-way.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure talking with Beechwood.
First time.
Your first four-way.
Yeah, gentlemen, I enjoyed our four-way very much. It was very great. Very good.
Everybody, this is Beechwood from Massachusetts. Thanks for the call, my friend. Thanks for listening. Thanks for contributing. God bless you and the family. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, we'll talk to you tomorrow, my friend. Talk to you then.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. Thanks for listening. All right, Jay, you're up. You're up, buddy. You're up, buddy.
Good night, Beechwood.
What do we expect? What do we expect in the early part of June? Rubio said we're going to be late. What do you expect when this whole thing comes out? Anything new or just the same old thing? As they've always been telling us.
Recycled crap with maybe 2 or 3 more unmagic markered lines in it is really what I expect. Someone took a piece of carbon paper and rubbed it on the back of the typewriter. The magic marker didn't cover up the typewriter mark. Might get a little bit of that. Maybe from the ones from Roswell. All right, yeah, they landed all the way back then. We've been lying to you the whole time. We're not telling you anything else in the matters of national security. We've been doing the whole H.G. Wells War of the Worlds thing with the viruses to keep them at bay for, I don't know, how long is that, 40 to 20? Long ways.
It's a long time.
Could be all the it could be all the way back from when the Renaissance guys were painting their gold leaf on their parchment paper there with the. That took the guy hours to do that. It's been going on forever.
Hey man, it takes us hours to do this show. Come on, man. Come on.
Well, no, that's great, but we're talking about it. Used to have to talk about it in a bar, but God forbid you go into a bar right now, you might kill everybody you know.
Or so they tell you. Not only that, if you go into a bar and you bring up UFOs, you might get your ass kicked and thrown out. It's hard to
depend on what bar you go into, Mike.
True. That's totally true. That's totally true. Jay, you're the best. I appreciate you listening. Appreciate all your input. Great thoughts. We're gonna smash a couple more articles and get some more content into this sucker. We'll talk to you tomorrow, I hope, huh?
But I'll do my best, Mike. Probably more than likely because you make me laugh and it's funny and it's a nice distraction from. We're talking about the stuff we're not supposed to be talking about, but there's a lot of stuff that, it's fun.
Amen.
It's
brother.
a good time.
Amen, brother. It's a good time. This is our virtual bar. There you go. I think that's probably a good.
There you go. That's it. Yeah, WBAR. I'm going to buy a radio station. That's what I'm going to call. That's what I might call later.
There we go.
WBAR.
Let me know if you need a radio host.
I'm hoping. I can't do it. I'm off in left field 90% of the time.
I got you. Buddy. Thanks for the call. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Okay. God bless you and the family. We got a few more minutes here. We're gonna smash some more info into this. We're talking UFOs. This is Jay from New York. Thanks for hanging out. Moving you out. Let's do it. Ash. What's up, buddy? You there? Testing 1 2. Earth to Mars. I think we got a.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm like literally. I'm like, where should we go to next? I'm scouring all these links and collections I have, and I'm like, man, I am one crazy motherfucker. I just have so much crazy shit, dude. It's like, holy shit. You want to talk about like hybrids and giants and fucking aliens so let's keep going. Let's okay. So we're in the front part of this. Right, the analogy is like there's a front end and there's a back end. The front end is like the front of the business of the military American apparatus, right? That's like, oh yes, what was that politician saying? We're doing our very best to get the American people exactly. Yeah, that's the front end. That's the customer service, right? in the back end, like what is the manager saying to his employees, right? And so to follow up, to come in from the back end, we talked about this a while ago, and I just want to follow back, right? This is real. This is fucking real, okay? This is let's see here. A recent episode of General Mark A. Malley, the 39th Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army, has warned the world about upcoming events that are going to change the world as we know it. So, General Miley spilled the beans about a certain topic that has been considered taboo for countless years. He had a press conference where he was talking to soldiers. I don't know if they were recently inaugurated. And you can find this video online. There's a link there. That video is filled with like fucking woo-woo music. I hate when they do that. They like take clips and they fill it with woo music, and then they'll have like an automated voice, like, oh god, terrible editing quality. But the video content is real. And so now we have UFO disclosure. We have all this going on the front end, right? This is what's going on the front end. On the back end, this is what this general says to his soldiers. I can tell you from personal experience, and I know that there's many others who can tell you as well, you'll be dealing with terrorists. This is what he's saying to his soldiers. You'll be dealing with hybrid armies. You'll be dealing with little green men, and you're going to be dealing with it all. And all of it is going to be dealt with simultaneously. For that, you're going to have to be ready. That's why readiness, in my mind, is number one. So there's a real quote by a real general to real soldiers that happened on the back end. So, like I said, while all this stuff is happening, you get little hints on the back end, and this is someone who doesn't give a shit. Like he's not worried about disclosure. He's not customer service. He's the one who has to help deal with real issues, right? Real threats. So maybe there is a threat. Maybe there is something. It's interesting that he said hybrid army. Now, I think it's one thing, but it's been pointed out to me that it could be something else. It could just mean a different sort of warfare, right? Hybrid could mean basically now there's a lot of battles that happen through social media, through technology, right? If you can win battles before they're even fought using technology, using social media, Facebook. There's some countries have been overthrown by Facebook groups, right? Enough. I'm sure China, America, all the top first world countries they play a battle in this. But hybrid armies could also mean something else, right, Mike? You know where I'm going with this.
Hell yeah,
you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, hell yeah. Somebody brought up in the chat a little while back the Igigi, right, from the Anunnaki and that whole story, right? NS says Anunnaki Igigi, please. What did I miss? And it's maybe that's what we're talking about right now. Maybe. Yeah,
maybe that's one of these threats. Tom DeLonge mentioned that there is an others that they strategically kind of duel with chess wise. They're in a chess game against these others, and the remote viewers say that there are three groups. There's the Galactic Federation of Worlds, the Orions, which look kind of like us, which what I think is like the Igigi, the Anunnaki. I'm not sure about that. And then there's the reptilians, and that the latter two are somewhat hostile. And you got Dr. David Jacobs, who's been doing the studying the abduction thing. And supposedly aliens have been creating hybrids, which are like a cross between aliens and humans for a long time. And then now you have this general talking about this. So this is kind of stuff on the back end that's it's a little bit out in left field, but like you said, we're reading in between the lines. But here we're not really reading between the lines too much. It's literally the general saying it. He's giving us a pivot point to kind of go off of. So I don't know, man. I don't know. There is a chance they'll just come out with it because, maybe it's not worth keeping a secret anymore. Maybe the people need to know. But maybe they fucking don't. I don't know. And, at the end of the day, you hope that the military's making decisions for our best interests, but also, there's a part of you that's like, maybe I'm just getting fucked. So, and I think Mike would agree with the latter. Am I correct, Mike?
Well, it just depends, right? It depends on who's bringing this up and who's talking about it, and who's got what agenda, right? Now, it's terrible, and I hate to say it. I hate to be this guy, but if you go into the whole ufology, right, and you go at like UFO Twitter and like the same old people, right? They're like, no offense to these folks, right? No offense. Like a lot of them are doing really great work, but like think about it. Like when you think about UFOs and aliens and this type of thing, like how many people are really kind of pushing this forward, and how many of them have been doing it for dozens of years? You know what I'm saying? It's like we end up in this situation where, and I bring up Linda Moulton Howe a lot, and I respect her work. She's done a ton of great work, with the cattle mutilation stuff and the Earth Files and the stuff she's doing, right? I don't listen to her a ton, but like she doesn't seem to be one of those people that are just way the frick out there. She's just not. Except, hold on though, how many people are kind of in that league, right? A dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, right? Like the George Knapps, the UFO Joes, right? The guys like John Greenwald Jr., right? We got Stephen Bassett. We have, we got George Norrie. We've got George Knapp. You know what I mean? Like there's literally 100 people, 150, 200 people total. You know what I mean? In this community, what? Let's go big and say there's 500 people in this community where all this information comes from. When the circle is so tiny, doesn't that make you suspicious? It makes me not want to be part of that circle. And to be honest with you, it's part of the reason why we don't have a ton of guests on this show. Because this is what happens. You start to get these guests on this show. We start to become part of that circle. These people start to become your friends. And you become part of the same old. You see what I'm saying here? And so instead of being able to stand off and look from the outside at what the hell's been going on for like the last 30 years, like Ash and I do, like we do on this show, you become part of that circle. You see what I'm saying? There's a problem there. And so I hate anonymous sources. I hate people saying, oh, we got some whisperings of some things about to happen and blah, 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 and the tweets and the this and the that, and everybody thinks they've got a goddamn inside source. I don't care about inside sources because you know what? If you tell me anything and you say it's sourced, but I can't tell you the source, you can basically go to hell, right? Like you're basically telling me you made some shit up. And that doesn't mean that you actually made this shit up. You may not have, and you may actually have a source, but you understand the implication is that you've opened it up to other people that are making up their sources and just making shit up. You see? Like we end up in this like clusterfuck circle of the same thing. The same thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's I think it's important to be able to stand back and look at what's going on and talk about what's going on and be able to be fine. Call us the punching bag. Call us the curmudgeons of the UFO community. Call us whatever you want to call us. I don't care. But if you come here and you listen to this, you get a take outside of that universe. And there are tons of gatekeepers. Go check out, go join UFO Twitter. The gatekeepers, I tell you what, we talked about Joe Rogan earlier. The gatekeepers. These people are trying to make you believe one thing or the other, right? Honest to God, I don't care what you believe. You believe what you believe and you roll with it. If you listen to us, thank you. If you think I'm full of shit, fine. Call, we'll talk about it. It's fine. It's all good. You understand? Like there's a huge, gigantic disconnect in all of media today. And we're trying to be the unmedia. We're trying to be the guys that allow you a voice. You. If you hear me right now, I'm talking to you. I read the phone number all the time. Talk about the website all the time. Talk about this show. Plug all the things all the time. But to be perfectly honest, we make no money on this show. We spend money to do this show. Do you understand? It's not about that. This is about getting to the bottom of what's important. And not just important to us, because clearly we're here spending our time making no money talking about this. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bitching and moaning about that. We do it because we love to do it. But the point is, we don't need any of these UFOlogists telling us what to say or what to think. We don't need to be their friends. You know why? Because we have you. Because we have us. We have independent thoughts. And we're able to look at it from the outside and make up our own damn minds. That's what's up with this show. There you go. There's my soapbox moment. And yeah, there we go. What's up, Jack? Jack on YouTube. Thank you. Jack on YouTube says this. This show rocks. 2 dopamine hits for the night. Let's finish this up, Ash. Right? I mean, I'm right? Like, I don't care. I'm not trying to make friends with these people. I don't fucking care. I don't care, man.
No, it's true though, because like any like programmer, any like things suffer when they're too centralized. You become a choke point, and those choke points are easily corrupted. I've heard these reporters that like sell us out and just sell propaganda on these news channels. They get $30K a night. Fuck, man, $30K a night. I don't know. I'm starting to feel some propaganda bubbling up for me to say. You know, yeah, right. $30K a night. That's super tempting. So if you become an influencer, you know, look at the UK leader that looked like Trump, Boris Johnson. That guy switched, bro. That guy he was for the people for a little while. He switched, man. And it's like they get to you, and it's the problem is when you put all your hopes and dreams into one person, they're easily corrupted, whether they know it or not. Right? They could be fed disinformation, and that's the first thing that they said they did. They infiltrated these groups to make sure it's disinformation. Then it becomes about your ego and whatever, and it's become you're an easy target for someone to come up and be like, "Look, I got some inside information for you." That GG after that. And once you inject some crazy data into your like hypothesis, it fucks the whole thing up, and it's done. So why you're right? Why be a part of that? There's no value in it. There's no value. You're not going to do anything for anyone. The only thing you're going to do is join the club.
Yeah, they're
cool. You joined a club.
They are already doing it without you, without us. They're already doing it. And these are the things we talk about because it's important to have an outside take on this, really. I wanted to say influence. I don't even think we're an influence. I don't care. It's not about that, right? This is about you, this singular individual. There may be one person out there listening at this point, and I don't care. Like, if I'm talking to you and only you, this is about you. You don't have to listen to those people, right? You take the data, but goddamn, there's so many gatekeepers that are like, no, you can't do this, you can't say that, you can't hate Leo Elizondo, you can't do this, you can't hate TTSA, you can't blah blah. This is real, that's not real. No, fuck off. I'll make up my own mind about what's what. And hey, if you have a problem with that, 702-957-1037. Do you understand? It's fine. It's okay. I'm not scared of somebody disagreeing with me. But holy shit, like, why do we get in these echo chambers of like politics, lefty, righty, ufology, right? You get in these guys that hate TTSA, the guys that don't, right? It's like this stupid binary bullshit, and they're just fighting with each other. It's, again, back to the engagement algorithms. Let's finish this up, Ash. I'm about to punch a hole in the wall somewhere.
Calm down, bro. You get riled up tonight, man. And look, it's like, You're right, though. There's evil. Evil is in the absolutes. And life isn't that simple. It's a gray area. It's ever changing. You know, it's interesting. There's at times I've been so sure, and then I'm not, and then I am. And, you know, things change, and you evolve as a person, and you never know, right? So it's the same thing with this stuff. It's like we don't know. That's the point, right? And so we have to stay open and aware and ever changing our minds. And like you can't take hard stances on kind of anything. And that's kind of how you should be in life anyway, right? You should be open at least to hear stuff. So, and you know, after the last year, it was left versus right, and it's fucking crazy, man. And it's like everything has to be political. COVID has to be political. If I even like I even say anything about it, or like, look, here's a fact: the COVID test is shit. Okay, that one test I studied is crap, and now it's gotten better. Now, but so like that's a fact. Doesn't mean I'm anti-vax, right? Like that's the problem. It's like if you can't be skeptical. Things get so polarized, get so crazy. You can't even be skeptical of a little piece of it, and then all of a sudden you get a label. You got a label. You got to join a side. I don't want to join anyone's side. You're all dumb. I'm dumb. We're humans.
I'm dumb.
You know, Mike's dumb.
We need a shirt that says that's a new T-shirt. I'm dumb with an alien.
I'm dumb. You know, I was watching Alex Jones. He was on this podcast. They're having it's hilarious, having a blast. And people are in the comments saying, you know, like Alex Jones, he's been right about a lot of stuff. And I should have gave the guy more of a chance. And then there's people in there, oh yeah, but he's wrong about more blah, blah, blah. It's like, what, like, you know, I go in there, it's like, what are you talking about though? Like you're going to shit on someone. Go ahead. Tell me what is the thing? Oh, well, he spews it every night. It's like, okay, what is the thing? He was right in this whole video. I looked everything up, but you didn't. And that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like, you know, people just want to join a side. They want to throw it out, want to be lazy. And if you're still listening to us fucking rambling about this shit, then you're not a lazy person. So appreciate you having here. We're gonna wrap this up. UFOs.
Wait.
Is it fucking going down? Oh, go ahead. Go on.
Wait. Either you're not a lazy person, or you're like putting up shelves in your garage.
And you're like, fuck, I can't reach the off. I got some shit on my hands. Fuck it, whatever.
Exactly. I can't reach the off button. Exactly. No, but that's the thing, right? Like it's important to realize that there are communities, right? And communities are fine. They're all fine and well, right? We're building our own community, but it doesn't mean that, you know, you build a community in the periphery and you have to be part of that other community, right? Like you're still able to be your own person. You're still able to have your own thoughts, and we're still able to agree and disagree and still be friends. Again, like I said, go ahead, check out these gatekeepers, go join UFO Twitter and find these assholes that are like, no, if you don't believe this, fuck you. Like it's really like, this is literally what the world has devolved into. It's just a bunch of bullshit. But again, right? That's what this show's about. The upside down, the media propaganda, the engagement algorithms that encourage people to call each other assholes. And it doesn't have to be that way. It just doesn't fucking have to be that way.
Dude, I gave up Twitter. That shit is fucking toxic. I gave up Twitter.
It is. You
know, I was just literally posting memes. So like, just like some people make just complex arguments. I'd be like, here's a picture of like Joe Biden sniffing someone. And then everyone's just like, blah, 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 just going like, yeah. And then, everyone's freaking out. And I was just having a blast. And I'm like, this is not good, bro. I mean, I got suspended, but
of course
that way,
because
but I'm going to say I quit. I'm going to say I quit. Exactly. Because I wasn't part of the mainstream narrative. So I got clipped out. And that's just, you know, that's how it is. But we're here. We're having these conversations. We're talking about this important stuff. You know, now the mainstream is starting to align, syncing up with a little bit with us. You notice that? We're looking for articles. There's a lot of UFO articles, Fox News, CNN, New York Times. But they're syncing up with us, okay, guys? Not the other way around, all right? We're talking about this stuff because we think it's important, not because it's in the mainstream. And, and we love hearing what you guys have to say. And you know, if we just sat here and talked about shit in a circle, and no one called in ever, you know how depressing that would be? We would just be like, are we crazy? Are we like
you just described
raving
the first
lunatics?
6 months of that. You described the first 6 months of the show. You just described the first 6 months. Kev, after 6 months, Kelly finally called in. No, but you get it. You guys get it. It's okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to justify it. Look, at some point, Lynn, this is the thing. And so I finally realized this. Like, it's like every night you have to come and you have to bring something, right? It's like there's some pressure there. But fuck it. I don't care anymore. And the best part about that is it's because there's a track record. You go back and you look and you listen. Ash and I were talking about COVID before Congress was talking about COVID. Right?
That's right.
Like, you go back, we're on record. We are way ahead of all the shit all the time. And there is a track record. And I don't fucking care. I don't care anymore. And that's the best part. Okay? Like I said, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to say the aliens are real or the aliens are not real. I'm here to discuss that issue and the other issues are surrounding this conspiracy world we live in. And if you agree or don't agree, it's fine. Like I said, come on.
You mean not make friends with like Mr. Cool important people, right? He's talking about
Yeah.
Obviously
I'm talking about you listening.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about making friends with like, I don't know, like insert name here, insert notable name here. I don't care. That part I don't care. Like, it's more important to have the conversation. Anyway, let's finish this up.
I will say I'll pay $1,000 to have Alex Jones on.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
I'm gonna start saving up right today, bro.
I'll chip in. I got 10 on that.
Motherfucker, the last interview I saw of him, there's like, oh, sounds like a chopper. He's like, yeah, it's mine. It's like, oh,
so we're gonna need more than $1,000. All right. So anyway, that's the thing. We're done. Ash, what do we expect in 6 months? Or sorry, not 6 months. In June, Marco Rubio already said. Let's see. It's end of March. Let's see. April's coming up. Let's see. We got
March,
2
April,
months.
May,
Like we got a little more than 2 months.
3 months.
And then Rubio said it's going to be late. What do we expect? Let's wind this up and play some outro music, and let's do the dance. Let's do the little dance. We'll do like the little dance. We'll make a little love. We'll have fun tonight. I think I reversed.
All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. We already had a foursome, so let's keep it going. Yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I thought it was a good topic today. Some stuff's moving around. We're having a debate how far it's going to go. What do we think the real truth is? Because it is out there. What are they lying to us about now, today? When are they going to stop lying? I don't know. But you guys are here because you're curious. You have troubled minds. You want to know the truth. You want to know what's going on. And that's what we try to do here. But thank you guys for calling in. Appreciate being here. Check out my YouTube channel, Astro Reptilian from Mars. I actually do have some stuff in the works. Some good stuff. It's already done. So check that out. I'll be going on the Bunny Show every other week. You can see me on my full reptilian form, which is apparently quite hilarious to a lot of people. And yeah, it's always a pleasure being here. Check me out next Wednesday. I'm here every Wednesday.
Okay,
yeah? Keep Mike sane.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Ash and I are boys, ish, right? As much as cross species can be boys. Now, I have one request before you finish up, Ash. I'm about to do my obligatory howl at the end of the stream. Can you give me like one more alien screech and see if it comes through in our human technology?
All right. Back off the speakers. This might blow your human eardrums out.
Let's do it.
Nothing, huh? Did you hear it?
Nope, nothing. It broke.
I'm screaming right into the mic.
That's
crazy.
You probably have to back off onto the other room, or maybe it's actually doesn't exist because our human technology doesn't pick up on the alien screech. In any case, it's fine. We'll get that one day. We'll get it right, and it will be amazing. That's better. We will. Yeah, there we go. If I'm the only one amused, it's okay because it's the end. Thanks for listening, guys. If you're here, if you're still here, you guys are Troubled Minds super fans. Much love to you. We know we go far and wide and talk about all kinds of crazy whack shit and end up in some bizarre places sometimes. We start talking about aliens and end up talking about Nicki Minaj scissoring. Well, that's just the way it goes, right? that's just the way it takes up.
That's the world we live in.
Exactly right. See, I made Ash choke. And that was actually a comment on YouTube. Somebody was like, dude, you guys started with aliens and ended up with Nicki Minaj scissoring. He's all, in all reality, please keep this up. I love it. There you go. In any case, it doesn't really matter. We're just here talking, having fun, and trying to parse what the reality of the reality is. And I don't think you can get an actual, definitive answer on that. It's personal, and it's our own journey, and hopefully we're bringing some love and some joy and some questions into your heart that maybe you didn't consider. And that's really what this is all about. Thanks again for hanging out. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Ash, for being here tonight. As always, you're the best, my friend. Everybody else, you know the outro. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. And from our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific, doing our thing. Have a great night.